No missile hit this plane. Ali Abedzadeh also inviting American, French, Canadian and Swedish experts to come to Iran and monitor the air crash investigation. The Ukrainian Boeing 737 had only just taken off from Tehran when it crashed hours after Iran had fired missiles at US forces in Iraq. All 176 people on board the aircraft were killed. Dave.
Simon, days after Iraq's parliament voted that U.S. troops should leave, the Prime Minister says in a call with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo last night, he asked the U.S. to send a delegation to formulate a plan to withdraw American troops. This after last week's U.S. airstrike that killed a top Iran general.
He was a bad guy.
President Trump at a campaign rally last night in Toledo, Ohio.
Soleimani was actively planning new attacks, and he was looking very seriously at our embassies and not just the embassy in Baghdad.
The president also railed against a vote in the House to limit his actions against Iran.
We have Bernie and Nancy Pelosi. We have them all. They're all trying to say, how dare you take him out that way?
Now, Democrats say the administration has not detailed what the imminent threat was that prompted the airstrike, and their resolution aims to
curb President Trump's ability to order military action on Iran without congressional approval or an imminent threat.
We'd be foolish to think this crisis is over. It could flame up again in the blink of an eye.
House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Elliot Engel says Congress should not give any administration blind trust.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. All but 3 Republicans voted no. They say it's non-binding, just symbolic. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago this morning, 47 degrees. 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The Chicago area bracing for a winter storm that roars in later on tonight. The National Weather Service says a mix of freezing rain and sleet is likely tonight and tomorrow, changing over to a period of heavy snow, especially in the northwest suburbs. Up to 6 inches of snow is possible there. Wind gusts could top as high as 40 miles an hour. For much of the area, a winter storm watch goes into effect late tonight and lasts through the day tomorrow. Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is refusing a request for an investigation into a possible rape cover-up. Madigan announcing yesterday that he won't allow a subpoena to be issued for 2012 emails that mention the cover-up of a rape in Champaign. Meantime, the emails were exchanged between politician turned lobbyist Mike McLean and former Pat Quinn Chief of Staff Jerry Sterner. McLean mentions the cover-up in emails designed to protect a state employee from being fired. He's known as a confidant of Madigan. Police in several northern suburbs are warning residents after a string of several burglaries to McCain, McHenry, and DuPage counties, along with parts of Cook. Police say the group of males, sometimes 2, sometimes as many as 4, have approached cars and homes that were left unlocked and stole the items. In some cases, the men broke into homes that were locked. 2 members of DePaul's University track team were credited with helping a boy who was attacked by a coyote in Chicago. Ryan Taylor and Dominic Bruce were finishing up a run Wednesday when they heard screams coming from a path near the Peggy Nodabart Nature Museum on the north side of Chicago. They ran over and found a 6-year-old screaming, bleeding from being bit by that coyote. Now, the DePaul students gave the child a sweatshirt, helped stop the bleeding, and then Bruce used a tree branch to keep that coyote away. While that coyote may have actually been rounded up last night, Executive Director of Chicago Animal Care and Control says coyote attacks on humans are very rare in the city, but do happen.
It hasn't happened in probably more than 10 years on a person. But if you do see a coyote, it's important not to interact with it, not to feed it.
A reported coyote sighting yesterday at Oz Park prompted a brief lockdown at Lincoln Park High and Lincoln Elementary. It's 5:05 on AM 560, The Answer. A Naperville man is pleading guilty to aggravated DUI and reckless homicide charges following a crash that killed a Downers Grove high school student last February. Joseph Kucharski entered the blind guilty plea yesterday in DuPage County Court. The 52-year-old initially pleaded not guilty last March. Prosecutors say Kucharski was driving while intoxicated when he ran a red light and struck and killed 17-year-old Elizabeth Dunlap in February of 2019. A Chicago police officer who claimed a supervisor sexually harassed and abused her could be receiving a $300,000 settlement. City Council Finance Committee will discuss the payout for Officer Kelly Hespy next week. Hespy filed a federal lawsuit in 2013 claiming Sergeant Gerald Bremon began abusing her after he started supervising her at the Shakespeare District on the West Side in 2008. Federal prosecutors say a judge was far too lenient in sentencing a man to 16 years in prison for plotting to detonate a bomb inside a car outside of a crowded bar. In the court filing made public yesterday, prosecutors are asking a 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel to vacate the sentence handed Adel Daoud last year by Judge Sharon Coleman. Coleman improperly characterized Daoud's attempt to bomb the downtown bar as immaturity and what teenage boys do. Prosecutors requested a 40-year sentence for Daoud, who entered an Alford plea in 2018. On this date in history, in 1951, Donald Howard Rogers entered the history books. He piloted the first passenger jet on a trip from Chicago to New York City. It actually wasn't a U.S. jet. It was an Arvo Canada jet, the only one ever built. Goalie Pekka Rinne scored his first NHL goal in the Predators' 5-2 win over the Blackhawks at the UC. Bulls host the Pacers later on tonight. Bear corner Kyle Fuller being invited to his second straight Pole Bowl. Officially now, Edward Encarnacion, a member of the White Sox, a one-year deal worth $12 million. The news service of Indeed.com. You only want to use the best route to drive across town, so do the same when you need to hire. Indeed provides hiring managers the straightest path to the best new employees. It will help you see beyond the resume. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager still doesn't understand the impeachment.
No member came here to impeach the president. How does she say that with a straight face? But truth is not a left-wing value. What they always say he violated the Constitution, but what did he violate in the Constitution? Has there ever been an impeachment where only one party wanted the president impeached? No. This is unprecedented.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
This is Michael Medved at michaelmedved.com for Town Hall. The last weeks of 2019 brought 2 film releases that deserve the attention of the widest possible audience for their affirmation of enduring values. Though both A Hidden Life and Just Mercy received only very limited distribution at year's end, they should win new attention in the new year for their historically accurate portrayal of real-life heroes motivated by deep Christian faith. Franz Jägerstätter, the subject of A Hidden Life, was an Austrian farmer who, in the midst of World War II, refused to take an oath of loyalty to Hitler because he felt higher loyalty to his God and Savior. Just Mercy highlights the tireless work of Brian Stevenson, an African-American lawyer motivated by his commitment to the church to rescue the wrongly convicted from death row. With religion under regular assault from so much of popular culture, these 2 superbly well-crafted films offer a refreshing, much-needed alternative. I'm Michael Medved.
publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajitas for only $7.99. Great flavors at a great price. Only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday.
5:10. Well, for now, the roads should be okay. AM 560 traffic center time. Jim Telemonte.
Outbound Ryan, traffic is jammed 59th to the Skyway, where everything is blocked right now between the Skyway and Marquette due to a rollover crash. The exit to 63rd Street is closed as well. This involves a rollover landfill truck, a load spilled, and a fuel leak. There's a lot of cleanup to be done. Inbound traffic moves well on the Ryan. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good right now. The roadways are wet. There will be, for those taking Metra home this afternoon, a crowded Union Station. The Great Hall is scheduled to close at 10 a.m. for a private event. This morning, however, commuters should not be affected. On this Friday, that's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
A winter storm watch tonight, flood watch tonight as well. Occasional rain and drizzle today. Look for a high of 47. Rain and breezy tonight, low 34. Winds will be strong tomorrow. That rain freezing on some surfaces. Could see some snow. Look for a high of 34. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
49 at O'Hare. It is 48 along Chicago's lakefront, 48 at Midway, 47 in Aurora, but looking just to our west, temperatures are already around 39 degrees in Rockford and falling. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Names matter. Your name, the name you've made for yourself, and the name of the company you represent. Because of you, they're names people can trust. That's why at 4imprint, every name and logo is printed with certainty. We pay attention to every detail because we know the way your name appears is the way it's remembered. So you'll know for certain that every item, from the right apparel to the most popular tech items, will be right the first time, on time, every time, at a great price, guaranteed. Because when you have passion, integrity, and certainty, the only name they'll remember is yours. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4, imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, as we supposed earlier in the week, Iran apparently accidentally, perhaps, but almost definitively shot down that commercial airliner, killing 176 people on the night of their strikes against against bases in Iraq where U.S. troops were staged. And, of course, you try to assign blame, who's the culpable party, and the Democrats on the Hill, their presidential candidates, and their handmaidens in the Beltway Big Government Press Corps have identified the culprit here. It's
and who is it? Drum roll?
It's President Trump.
Yeah, it's President Trump. Pete Buttigieg tweeted out about it. I'm sure you have the tweet there, but I mean, how it is President Trump's fault is beyond me.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, is the Iranian shooting down, Iran shooting down a commercial airliner in its airspace using Russian missiles, perhaps. Is that also an impeachable offense with respect to President Trump? Should he be impeached over Iran shooting down a commercial airliner that took off from Tehran using Russian missiles?
And we knew because the U.S. saw Iranian radar signals lock onto the airplane before it was shot down. And then I'm sure you saw the video of it, the missile hitting the airliner, and then it becoming a ball of fire and crashing to the ground. But yeah, do you really think they're going to turn this into an impeachable offense? Actually, I wouldn't be surprised.
Red Diaper Baby, Mannequin Pete, tweeting out, innocent civilians are now dead because they were caught in the middle of an unnecessary and unwanted military tit-for-tat. My thoughts are with the families and loved ones of all 176 souls lost aboard this flight. Oh, souls, he's trying to go all religious on us again, isn't he? Unnecessary and unwanted. They were caught in the middle. Well, I mean, there's a lot of questions about what happened that night still. I mean, starting, and we'll talk to Robert Mark, an aviation expert, at the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour, starting with just basic questions like,
why in the hell did they take off anyway?
Yeah, that's
I mean, literally, it was dark. They boarded the plane at 5:30, and that's an hour after they allegedly stopped firing the missiles. So why? I mean, American Airlines, not Americans, but American Airlines were not flying at all over any airspace in Iran or Iraq. So why did they think that they were safe?
Tell you, I don't know what the airport in Tehran is like. I assume it has CNN on because that's even a better propaganda network
nice
than
airport.
their state-run media. What's a nice airport?
No, the Tehran airport.
You've been?
No, I looked at photos online. Like, what kind of airport is this? I mean, it's an international airport, just what you would expect.
So also, if they were sitting in the airport watching CNN piped in there, and they see the announcement that Iran has launched missile strikes against U.S. positions in Iraq, maybe say, you know what, I'm gonna go back to the hotel, see how this looks tomorrow. Maybe take a later flight. I mean, I'm not blaming the victims here, but,
I know,
it's just
common sense sometimes, folks.
The whole thing is just curious.
Well, here's Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. You know him.
We have intelligence from multiple sources, including our allies and our own intelligence. The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. This may well have been unintentional.
And President Trump pretty much echoed the same sentiment.
It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood, and somebody could have made a mistake. Some people say it was mechanical. I personally don't think that's even a question.
Yeah, and Iranian officials are still holding on hope that it's mechanical. Well, they said that it wasn't a missile because the pilot was trying to turn back to head back to the airport.
First of all, was Trudeau in blackface when he delivered those remarks?
No, but he does have a full-on beard now.
Oh.
He's got hairy face now.
It's like the Ted Cruz reinvention.
Honestly, you got to, I'll show you a picture of him later.
So I'm real interested in what the Canadians have to say, probably more interested in what we have to say, and U.S. intelligence echoing those statements, of course, the basis on which President Trump was speaking, confident, according to ABC News, that Iran painted the Ukrainian airliner with radar and fired 2 surface-to-air missiles that brought down the aircraft. Also, you've probably seen, many of you online, the video of this, and you see a plane on fire in the air, and then it disappears behind a mountain range and crashes and bursts into flames, of course. So mechanical can start a fire and so on and so forth. It doesn't appear that way. There's also some pictures of some of the wreckage that indicate the plane took on fire based on the damage done to the wings, at least one of the wings I saw in the fuselage as well.
Yeah, and then there's Russian missile shrapnel. And that's what's huge. And here's the I know we
probably
joke,
not in a carry-on.
No. And here's the pilot's mother.
The Ukrainian mother of a pilot crying, "He was my only son. Now I'm all by myself."
Just awful. And there was a newlywed couple from Canada there, and apparently they had a huge vigil in Canada last night because there's a huge Iranian Canadian population up there, and everybody knew someone on that plane.
Associated Press also making a less than subtle insinuation. What began with this is a tweet from the AP.
Okay.
What began with a drone attack on a top Iranian general rippled outward until dozens of Iranian Canadians and dozens of Iranian students studying in Canada were dead. What began with a drone attack rippled outward. They're trying to make this like felony murder, right? you go to rob somebody and you don't mean to kill anybody, but your partner kills somebody, and so you're charged with murder. Is that
accessory to the crime?
Is that what's going on here? 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA. Turnkey.pro text line. Chip in St. Charles.
Of course, the airliner being shot down over Iran is an impeachable offense. Nancy Pelosi broke wind last night, and that is also an impeachable offense.
Okay, thanks for the call. That's an impeachable image. Verlon on the south side.
That's what you get when you have prehistoric technology and you really think these guys can go to war with the United States. I laugh at it. But what I really called to talk to you about is I don't know if you two are aware of the new narrative that's going around in liberal media. The new narrative is the terrorist that Donald Trump took out, he was some sort of broker of peace, and he was going to have a summit between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So they're trying to make this, the liberal media, our media, are trying to make this guy into some sort of folk hero. You know what, Dan? In all my lifetime of watching news, I've never seen so many appeasers, capitulators, hypocrites, and pacifists. I just hope the American people sees through this farce and overwhelmingly puts our president back in office and vote some of these clowns out of office so we can get on with the American people's business.
Thanks for the call, Verlon. Well, speaking of clowns, Jackie Spire, she's a Democrat from California.
Oh, yeah.
She had this to say to Wolf Blitzer.
Have you been briefed on it? Because it certainly sounds like it was a mistake by the Iranians. Do you think they assumed this was some sort of U.S. military plane?
Well, I have been briefed on it, Wolf, in the Intelligence Committee, so I'm not really at liberty to say. But if what is being projected is true, this is yet another example of collateral damage from the actions that have been taken in a provocative way by the President of the United States.
And the next thing they're going to do, they're going to blame him for the 53 people who died in the stampede during Soleimani's funeral.
Collateral damage.
They're victims too.
All part of the military tit for tat, all part of the ripple from taking out Soleimani. Whew.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
In 2019, Illinois became the abortion capital of the Midwest. But what are you going to do about it? Join thousands at the largest pro-life event in the Midwest, Saturday, January 11th at the March for Life Chicago. Hear from keynote speaker and abortion survivor Claire Caldwell, the Chicago Bears' Pat McCaskey, Cardinal Supich, and many other pro-life leaders. Check out new and expanded events all day, including the convention at the Congress Plaza Hotel, a youth rally, the March for Life rally and March at Daly Plaza, a dinner banquet, even swing dancing into the night. Purchase your tickets to the banquet and cocktail hour, sign up for a free fast pass to the convention, and find out more at marchforlifechicago.org. The 2020 March for Life Chicago theme is Life Empowers. Pro-life is pro-woman. The voiceless need a voice. March for babies, march for women, march for life. Visit marchforlifechicago.org today. That's marchforlifechicago.org.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649. or go to freeirsbook.com.
At Quicken Loans, our 17,000 team members know that home is so much more than a house. That's because our clients tell us all the time. Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, and we want to help you save money on your mortgage with some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. Pay off some credit card debt or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.23%. That's right, 3.99%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution for you. That's 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Elevators and escalators are used thousands of times a day in millions of buildings around the world, and we rarely think about them. That is, until something goes wrong. Buildings spend a fortune on maintenance and repairs and yet still seem to experience issue after issue. If you're a property owner or manager, keeping the elevator safe and operational is at the forefront. But how much do you actually know about one of the biggest assets in your building? Elevators and escalators are highly specialized equipment, so the answer is probably not enough, but that's okay, because the elevator consultants are here to help. The Elevator Consultants levels the playing field for building owners and property managers, ensuring your equipment is running smoothly and affordably, especially if using the Elevator app, a game-changing technology that tracks all maintenance activity. Call the Elevator Consultants at 312-519-9949 or visit theelevatorconsultants.com to set up a free consultation. Call the Elevator Consultants, 312-519-9949.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, so I've been going to East Bank Club for 24 years. Can you believe that? I should get the senior special now.
Boy, I tell you, that is a very high tolerance for D-bags.
It's not that. Well, there's a new round of D-bags that are in there.
Sure.
The millennials now.
It's, every succeeding generation pilgrimages to East Bank Club like Muslims to Mecca.
Well, actually, they've really made some changes. They have a new spin room that you would love. It's huge. It's there's 82 bikes and there's a huge screen and
spin room I'll never see.
Okay, and then
just
there's
like
a
the
new
Venture card is a pass I'll never have.
Well, they've banned something now from the women's locker room, and I'd like you to take a guess. Justin, Mike Scott, guess what they have banned from the women's locker room?
Women.
No, that's funny. Mike, what do you think?
Marijuana.
Oh, that's good. No, you can smoke it actually on the top deck.
Sure.
Justin?
Sure. Yeah, obviously.
Should we let the skateboarding kid play with the skinny jeans? What do you think they banned?
If he's got a legitimate guess.
Cell phones?
The cell phone. And guess why they banned? That's very good. He got that. Guess why they banned cell phones?
I thought
seems
at
first
pretty
because
obvious.
I thought because people were secretly maybe videotaping other people. That's not the case. People are taking selfies, but naked selfies. And one, Amy J, was in the background. I'm like, what is she doing? And she was taking a picture, and she's getting the boobie in, Or the
oh my gosh! What the what?
We get the picture.
Days. I mean, it was so embarrassing, and they're doing it all over. Like these girls are taking pictures.
You photobombed a
by
naked woman,
accident.
and now you've caused this policy change.
No, I don't know if I've caused it, but it's online, and people are, the managers know about it, and it's not just me. Other people, innocent employees too, that are walking by, just minding their own business.
Sure.
I mean, the tite shot.
Amy J.
The what?
Running behind and jumping into the picture.
Oh,
here I bombed it.
Here's the old lady.
Right.
Stop taking the nudie selfies. So yeah, now they've changed it. So now we can't bring our cell phones.
Well, I think it's probably just. I mean, not that East Bank has a particularly good brand, at least to me, and people who have taste. But here's the thing.
It's not that bad.
You probably think too brand equity. Like you see these disgusting pictures of naked people and like an East Bank logo in the background. That's a locker room you're not going into. That's a club you're not joining. I hope it's.
I want to bring you to a spin class. Will you come with me?
I hope it's banned in the men's or non-binary or whatever they call.
They don't have
other
that
locker
yet.
room.
They don't have that yet, but maybe that's coming.
Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Nancy Pelosi is not going to be able to attend the San Francisco 49ers Minnesota Vikings playoff game. You know why?
Why?
Because she's a hero at 5:38.
Oh, I can't wait. But first, let's head into the newsroom. Getting ready for what? A half a foot of snow?
Yeah.
Possibly?
In some spots.
Is that why you're wearing your winter sweater today, Mike?
No, it's because
you look all cozy back
of
there.
what was closest to my hand when I reached into the closet this morning.
Ah.
See, 28 degrees at 5:30.
Fashion tips from Mike Scott.
Well, when it's really dark and you don't want to wake anybody up. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. The National Weather Service says a mix of freezing rain and sleet is likely tonight and tomorrow. Heaviest snow up to 6 inches or more. In parts of the northern suburbs, wind gusts will hit us all around 40 miles an hour. The House has passed a resolution that puts limits on the president's authority to order military action against Iran.
The administration must de-escalate and must.
Last night, the president slammed those Democrats who voted for the resolution for their reaction to the killing of the Iranian general.
The radical left Democrats have expressed out.
Incredible investigation is conducted to determine the causes of this fatal crash.
All 176 on board were killed, including 63 Canadians. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell co-sponsoring a measure that would allow the Senate to dismiss articles of impeachment. On Thursday, McConnell signed on as a co-sponsor of the resolution of Missouri Republican Josh Hawley. McConnell insisting the House will not dictate how a Senate trial will be run.
The majority of this body has said definitively that we are not ceding our constitutional authority to the partisan designs of the Speaker.
And that Speaker Nancy Pelosi faced uncomfortable questions about when she plans to release articles of impeachment.
No, I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
An official at Babson College in Wellesley, Massachusetts, has been fired over a Facebook post about Iran. Asheen Fonzie's post said Iran should list 52 American sites that should be bombed. Fonzie apologized and called his post a poor attempt at humor before he was fired. Police in several northern suburbs are warning residents there about a string of several burglaries to homes and cars. Kane, McHenry, DuPage, parts of Cook County. Many things were stolen. In some cases, the men broke into homes that were locked. 2 members of DePaul University's track and field team are being credited with helping the boy who was attacked by a coyote in Chicago, Ryan Taylor. Dominic Bruce were finishing up a run Wednesday when they heard screams coming from the paths near the Peggy Notebart Nature Museum. They ran over, drove off that coyote, and helped that 6-year-old boy, including giving the child sweatshirts to help stop the bleeding and using tree branches to drive away that coyote. Predators over the Blackhawks 5-2. Bulls and Pacers on tap tonight. Edwin Encarnacion, officially now a member of the White Sox, agreeing to a 1-year deal worth $12 million. 5:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains the conflict with Iran.
None of this should be really hard to understand. It's not that difficult to know that this is a huge, huge step forward to making the world a safer place with all the evil that we know exists in it. We are talking about the #1 state sponsors of terrorism around the globe.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350350. That's LIKE to 350350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Tired of your winter routine? Escape during Apple Vacation's great winter event and save up to $400 on your next vacation. Bask in unlimited luxury at romantic Secrets Resorts and Spas in Mexico, the Caribbean, and Costa Rica. Book now and enjoy half-off select room upgrades, resort coupons, and more at Secrets Resorts and Spas. Affordable choices, endless adventures. Apple Vacations. Contact Carey Travel Express or visit careytravelexpress.com to book today. Valid at participating resorts when booked by January 31st for travel through October 2020. Restrictions apply.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
It is 5:37. Get an update on the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Outbound Ryan, traffic slows approaching 47th Street where all traffic is forced into the express lanes. The locals are closed from 47th to the Skyway. There's a rollover crash involving a landfill truck, a spilled load, a fuel leak, so it's a real mess. It will take some time to clean up. The outbound Ryan ramp to 63rd Street is closed as well. Inbound traffic moves pretty well still. You may have a brief gaper slowdown in that area around the Skyway. Traffic's getting a little congested approaching downtown. Bishop Ford outbound at 111th Street crash blocking the left lane. The other expressways and tollways are wet, but still fairly light. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, a mild morning to start. Rain and drizzle, high 47. It turns breezy through the middle of the day. Some of those wind gusts are very heavy, and the rain picks up overnight, low 34. Winds become very strong, an icy mix in the morning, and then snow in the afternoon tomorrow, high 34. 49 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We like to profile acts of heroism on this show because they're rare. But in moments of crisis, when somebody acts heroically, they should be recognized in the hopes that other people will act in the same way in such circumstances. And I'm happy to report we have another such instance. It may be counterintuitive, but heroism is heroism.
What happened? What did I miss while I was sleeping for 4 hours?
This exchange between Nancy Pelosi and a reporter.
It would be my intention to go. I went to one game in San Francisco. We watched all together the second game in Seattle. I have, unfortunately, responsibilities to save our country this weekend, so I have on my Democratic wearing that hat of political leader.
Right, stop talking. We have just witnessed somebody who is foregoing using her season tickets to go to the San Francisco 49ers playoff game because she has to, quote, save our country from peril this weekend, unquote.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Have you ever seen such heroic maneuvers in your life?
Wonderful.
Wow.
Meanwhile, over at the Death Star, Mitch McConnell, as Mike Scott was reporting, has signed on to Josh Hawley's resolution to put Nancy Pelosi on a 25-day clock. This is how it will work. 25 days to send articles of impeachment over to the Senate. After that, a senator could offer a motion to dismiss with prejudice for failure by the House of Representatives to prosecute such articles. with a simple majority vote. So it's effectively the motion to dismiss, were this a court of law. So also Mitch McConnell indicating to his caucus mates that the impeachment trial will begin next week, one way or the other, whether they get the articles or not. Now, Pelosi had a presser of her own, and in addition to the display of heroism you just heard.
I wonder what she's going to do with her tickets. Is she going to give them away to somebody in her district?
StubHub, I presume. But she also addressed the articles of impeachment. She's a little testy about it, but, heroes have their moments, too.
You will keep asking me the same question. I keep giving you the same answer. As I said right from the start, we need to see the arena in which we are sending our managers. Is that too much to ask? In October, we put forth H.R. 660, which is House resolution, which talked about the terms under which we would proceed further proceed with the investigation, so that people knew what the battlefield would look like. We expect to see that here. I hear different things. I hear that they might want to, you've probably heard one way or another, some of them have suggested they might want to dismiss. Dismiss equals cover-up. Dismiss equals admission that you're afraid of the facts, the truth, the witnesses, and the documentation.
Dismiss equals we don't see any facts that rise to the level of the claim you're making. Apparently, Nancy Pelosi isn't familiar with our civilian civil and criminal justice system. Is that what it means when you dismiss a case? So when a judge dismisses a case in a civil or criminal proceeding, that's what that means? Pelosi continue, though, because she was pressed on delivering those articles. So after that...
It's been 3 weeks. I mean, let her get off the pot.
After her tough talk, when she's ready, I want to see the rules. I want to see what the arena looks like.
So are you willing to hold on to the articles indefinitely?
Not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
I'll probably be soon. I'll send them over when I'm ready, probably soon. Okay, tough guy. So you're getting pressure. This isn't going well for Democrats. The political points you hope to score are not available at present. I know you're trying to buy time, but your time is running out. So probably they'll be turned over soon because the Senate is leaving the station without you.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell said he's going to move to dismiss, as he should. But why has she been sitting on it, though, for 3 weeks? I mean, what's the reasoning? Do you know? Because people are saying that she saw this segment on CNN with one of Nixon's flacks, and she decided that, I'm going to wait to hopefully get witnesses subpoenaed for some reason. Or is her heart really in this, Dan? Or is this just a big game? Because it feels like a game to me.
Well, of course it's politics, but she's trying to buy time. She's trying to apply pressure. She's trying to give her caucus mates more media appearances where they can complain about unfairness to see if they can turn public opinion or, frankly, even get the public interested in this, much less turn public opinion. Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. This is a perfect example of how Trump, this guy gets under these people's skin. I mean, even you were just on the last segment when you're talking about Iran. Listen, those guys are soiling their diapers over. They're so worried about if Trump's going to send cruise missiles in there and like that. They shot that commercial jet down and everything because they're so jumpy over there. And Pelosi, she's so rattled now. She's always been a little bit wacky in that, but now Trump, the way he wins and wins and wins, and they every time they attack him, he comes up even stronger. He does perfectly fine. Dan and Amy, this is the best news. The way they're losing their minds even further over Trump.
Thanks for the call, Craig. I mean, some of the ways in which the D.C. press corps tries to help out. Molly Ball's piece in Time. Why Nancy Pelosi is going all in against Trump. What's most striking about this moment in Pelosi's career is that at the peak of power, she's not protecting her position, but rather using it in aggressive, even risky ways. Impeaching Trump is a gamble for Pelosi. But Pelosi's always been a risk taker.
Here's the hero theme again. I smell it.
She's a maverick. From defying Chinese authorities by protesting at Tiananmen Square to pushing Obamacare through the House with nary a vote to spare. Very poetic.
Are you right? Are you reading a poem over there?
But she is careful to cast impeachment not as a political gambit, but as a effort to preserve the checks and balances of American democracy. That's my responsibility to protect the Constitution of the United States. These here United States, she says. Wow.
So it's like a school rock song.
Those are the things she's saying, and those are the things she's asserting. But it's one thing to watch her say them and assert them, and it's another thing to be a Scrivener memorializing them from her perspective, like these so-called analysts. And Molly Ball, she used to be at the Atlantic Time. You see her on Meet the Press and all these pundit shows all the time. I mean, it's just absurd. The levels to which these individuals are willing to sink, and if it sounds like it smacks of desperation, because it does. Meanwhile, President Trump is in Toledo, Ohio last night, having a good old time, and he there's nothing I like more than when a Trump rally gets interrupted by a protester of some sort. And Trump
and he tells him to go back to his mama's basement.
Well, yeah, the MST3K comments, and this is a classic Trump.
That's okay. They're gone. They go home to mommy. Going home to mommy. They're going home to mommy. It's a beautiful sight. Thank you, security. Do we love law enforcement, by the way?
Yeah, nice pivot.
There you go. Good.
Going home to mommy. He also had some choice comments for Pelosi's district. You've heard him before, but it's always fun to hear him again.
Take a look at what's happening to her district. Her district is one of the most disgusting, dirtiest. It used to be one of the best in the country. Now it's a disgrace what's happened. Drug needles all over the place. The homeless that they're not taking care of. Tents down major thoroughfares. What happened to San Francisco, and in particular, her district, as she lives in this beautiful house.
And for those who see some of the protestations from the press corps, from Democrats on the Hill, about the precarious position that Trump is in because Mike Lee and Rand Paul didn't appreciate the briefing they got on Wednesday, and Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, and here's a cooked-up scenario in which Trump could actually be in trouble. It could actually happen. We could actually have him removed from office. We could actually have witnesses called, and then they may say something, and then we could have him removed from office. Senator Mike Braun, our friend to the east, Indiana.
Friend of the show, yes.
He said after the briefing on Wednesday, Trump's stock value is at an all-time high. And that's not just his opinion. He's also just describing Trump's standing among Republican voters, which is 95% approval. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mike Lee did a major walk back. Here he was right after the briefing.
Probably the worst briefing I've seen, at least on a military issue, in the 9 years I've served in the United States Senate. To come in and tell us that we can't debate and discuss the appropriateness of military intervention against Iran. It's un-American. It's unconstitutional, and it's wrong.
Then he was on with Brett Baer last night on Special Report and changed his tune, Dan.
In fact, those assigned to come and brief us yesterday from the administration didn't share this president's view that has been very respectful toward his commander-in-chief power. I applaud this president. I support this president. This president has been fantastic. He's been unprecedentedly deferential to the American people and restrained in his use of the commander-in-chief power, more than any other president in my lifetime. The briefers yesterday didn't exhibit the same level of respect and deference and restraint that President Trump has shown, and I think that's unfortunate.
He didn't really elaborate on what he found to be deferential and restrained in Trump's decision to assassinate or kill the foreign military official. So maybe we can get more when Brett Baer joins us at 7:07.
And you heard, you heard what Mike Lee just said on Special Report, and then here's what the D.C. press corps is saying. I mean, this is like wishing upon a star. Jonathan Bernstein, writing in of Bloomberg. Why Utah's Mike Lee might actually vote to remove Trump.
What?
Do you think what you just heard from Mike Lee makes him a swing vote on removal, on conviction? I mean, these guys, the press corps, they are hysterical. Jim in Tampa, Florida.
Hi, good morning, guys. Just to pick up on that point, they are hysterical. And in another time, like a couple of years back, I don't know, 3, 4, when Nancy Pelosi would say dismissal equals cover up, I think all of us would think in our minds, yeah, damn it, the press is going to run with that and everybody will believe. And that just lands like a joke when she says it now. I think there's been a big change in the way Trump has sort of cultivated the way we look at the press, and it's for the positive, I think.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks for the call, Jim. Good points. Max in St. Charles.
Hello, Dan and Amy.
Hello.
I'm out in St. Charles. Congressman Caston, I'd sent him an email that asked him this one simple question. Did you know that Nancy Pelosi was going to hold the articles of impeachment prior to your vote? And if so, why didn't you tell us? And if not, if you didn't know, you're totally incompetent and weren't included in the program.
And are you awaiting a response?
Yeah, I'm waiting a response.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, good questions. Thanks for the call, Max. And
That's
also,
what should people do. They should question their lawmakers and ask them questions.
and also now that you know, Sean Caston, now that you know, because she's held them for nearly 3 weeks, why haven't you said anything? Unless it doesn't offend you.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine selling your home in under 30 days without ever listing it. It's possible with the Wexler Real Estate Group's new Instant Offer program. Just schedule a home evaluation and receive an offer for your home. You don't have to pay commissions, service fees, or buyer closing costs. There's no home improvements, inspection, repairs, open houses, or for sale signs. You don't even have to do the dishes. If you accept the offer, you pick the closing date that's convenient for you. And you can be out in less than 30 days. Hassle-free. If you do choose the traditional sales route, no problem. Ron Wexler, Tammy Northcutt, and the team at the Wexler Group at Keller Williams Preferred Realty have over 35 years of experience to help you sell your home for top dollar in today's market. For more information on the Wexler Group's Instant Offer Program, call or text 708-629-5151. That's 708-629-5151. Or visit thewexlergroup.com. Certain conditions and fees apply. Ron Wexler is an Illinois licensed real estate agent serving Chicago and its suburbs.
Dan Proft here along with Amy Jacobson.
And we wanted to take just a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign over the past 6 weeks.
Because of you and your generosity, we were able to raise more than $215,000 to provide food for an entire year for displaced Venezuelan children and their families living in Colombia.
We especially want to thank the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. Now, when you hear their commercials running on this station in the coming months, please support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Just because the Christmas season is over, that doesn't mean that the need has gone away. You can still make a tax-deductible gift of any amount to Food for the Poor by calling 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
And on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer and at Food for the Poor, thanks again for your generosity.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and I just completed a cash-out refinance bank statement loan with Townstone Financial. I called Townstone Financial because I had a lot of equity in my house, but I also had a lot of credit card debt, and I wanted to take the equity out of my house to pay off my credit card debt, and nobody could help me with that because I'm self-employed. But Barry at Townstone had a program for me. Now I'm comfortable. I've paid off my debt, and I'm happy.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, NMLS 136639, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.
As time goes by, we can all use a little more help getting around. Staying mobile and independent can be tough for some, especially our aging loved ones. When you need assistance finding the right quality products to make life easier and more enjoyable, there's Mars Medical Supply. Home medical equipment and supplies to keep you or someone you care for independent and mobile. Whether it's living with certain medical conditions and disorders or recovering from injuries and surgeries that are difficult to cope with, shopping for specialty products can be frustrating. The Mars Medical Consultants will help you find the right solution and feature a full line of lift chairs, scooters, knee walkers, power wheelchairs, and rollator walkers. There's also financing available on purchases over $200 through Care Credit to help you get the products you need right away. For home medical equipment and supplies, rely on Mars Medical Supply, 333 West Maple Street in New Lenox. Browse products and featured items online at marsmedicalsupply.com. Mars Medical, keeping you independent and mobile for over 30 years, with customer care that's out of this world.
Restaurants come and go, and very few last. But when you find a restaurant that served margaritas, fun, and fantastic food for over 2 decades, you can bet it's great. That's the one-of-a-kind landmark Cafe Salsa Mexican Grill and Tequila Bar in Countryside. Cafe Salsa offers daily lunch specials, happy hour in the bar, half-price house margaritas on Wednesdays, and on Monday and Tuesday, 2 for $22 dinner specials. Ready to eat? Try their Mexican-inspired influences on traditional fare like Cafe Salsa's honey chipotle glazed pork chops, amazing carne asada, or churrasco with mushroom salsa, fajitas, or the many flavorful shrimp, steak, and chicken dishes hot off the wood fire grill. Cafe Salsa's dining room is perfect for birthdays and family get-togethers, so check out their complete menu at cafesalsa.com or call 708-352-5100. Make your plans for lunch or dinner today at Cafe Salsa, 55th Street and LaGrange Road in Countryside, or cafesalsa.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about impeachment, and Pelosi suggesting that she will turn over the articles of impeachment to the Senate when she's damn good and ready, which will probably be soon.
And then there's rumors yesterday, she's going to do it in the next 24 hours, and then nobody could confirm that. And our guy Raja was on, and he couldn't confirm it either.
Don't care.
Yeah.
As long as McConnell's going to move this thing along, don't really care. Mike in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Nancy Pelosi holding the articles reminds me of the Blazing Saddles, the scene where the black sheriff shows up in town and pulls a gun and points it to his own head to try to avoid being run out of town by the townspeople.
Right.
I don't know what she thinks she's getting away with. Anyway, have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, George Perry earlier wrote a piece. George Perry, this former prosecutor, wrote a piece on that. We talked to him earlier in the week about it. But it is. It's the nobody move or the sheriff gets it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk about something else Nancy Pelosi did yesterday, which is move a war powers resolution to try to limit the president's decision-making on matters Iran-related, 606.
And coyote caught. Now they're determining if it was the one that attacked the 5-year-old boy and the man walking down in River North. But first, let's head into the newsroom for news here at home and around the world. Here is the one and only Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and Dan, good morning. And Chicago is bracing for a winter storm headed our way. Some snow, rain, ice, and heavy wind gusts. Mike Madigan is denying a request for an investigation into a possible rape cover-up. Illinois now covering sex reassignment surgeries. Predators drop the Blackhawks. Bulls host the Pacers later on tonight. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Defending the airstrike, attacking the House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The radical left Democrats have expressed outrage over the termination of this horrible terrorist.
President Trump at a campaign rally last night in Toledo, Ohio, hours after a House vote aimed at restricting his actions in Iran. The president called the Iran general taken out a bad guy who was plotting to attack U.S. embassies.
But we stopped him, and we stopped him quickly, and we stopped him cold.
As for the War Powers resolution to limit the president, 3 Republicans joined Democrats approving it, including Congressman Matt Gaetz.
I support the president. Killing Soleimani was the right decision, but engaging in another forever war in the Middle East would be the wrong decision.
Now, a week after that airstrike, Iraq keeps trying to get American troops to leave. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, the Iraqi Prime Minister's office saying Adel Abdul Mahdi has asked Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to send a delegation to Iraq and prepare plans for withdrawing American troops. This following a vote in the Iraqi parliament to expel U.S. forces. The Prime Minister saying his country rejects all violations of its sovereignty, including Iran's firing of missiles at U.S. troops in Iraq on Wednesday, but also an American breach to kill an Iranian general last week. Dave?
Simon, Iran is denying all the reports the Ukrainian passenger jet that crashed in Tehran was shot down. And Iran is calling on the U.S. and Canada to release the info to back up the claim. All 176 passengers on board were killed. There are 2 new Fox polls out showing a Democrat surging in 2 states with early presidential contests. Tom Steyer is now second in South Carolina with 15%. He's moved up to third in Nevada, getting 12%. Joe Biden has the lead in both states. Steyer's surge has helped the billionaire become the 6th Democrat to qualify for next week's presidential debate. America's listening to Fox News.
47 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. A mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow, along with heavy winds, will last through the evening into Saturday. And a winter storm watch goes into effect late tonight and lasts until late tomorrow. Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan is refusing a request for an investigation into a possible rape cover-up. Madigan announcing yesterday he will not allow a subpoena to be issued for 2012 emails mentioning the cover-up of a rape in Champaign. The emails were exchanged between politician-turned-lobbyist Michael McLean and former Pat Quinn Chief of Staff Jerry Sturmer and a top aide. McLean mentions the cover-up in those emails. He's known as a confidant of Madigan. 2 members of the DePaul University track team credited with helping a boy who was attacked by a coyote in Chicago. Ryan Taylor and Dominic Bruce helped that 6-year-old boy after being bitten by the coyote, binding his wounds with a sweatshirt and driving the coyote off. While that coyote may have been rounded up last night, Executive Director of Chicago Animal Care and Control says coyote attacks on humans remain very rare in the city.
It hasn't happened in probably more than 10 years on a person. But if you do see a coyote, it's important not to interact with it, not to feed it.
A reported coyote sighting yesterday in Oz Park prompted a brief lockdown at Lincoln Park High. Chicago health officials have reported the first child flu-related death of the 2019-2020 flu season. And in a move approved by Governor J.B. Pritzker, taxpayers in Illinois are now paying for sex change operations. The Department of Health Care and Family Services says Medicaid started covering gender reassignment surgeries. The procedures are supposed to be only for people over 21, but youngers can apply to have their surgeries covered as well. Predators over the Blackhawks 5-2. Bulls hosting the Pacers later on tonight. The news, a service of Ruby Tuesday. Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajitas for only $7.99. Great flavors at a great price. Only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't sure which side the Democrats are on.
The Democrats are virtually on the side of Iran, as the daughter of Soleimani has vowed that there is going to be a dark event happening against the United States as they are promising to literally attack the White House. The Democrats seem to be siding with our enemy.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson. Bank account number 0040891. Report to Gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples.
6:07 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim Talamonte.
The outbound Ryan remains a big trouble spot. Likely will be for some time. The local lanes are closed from 47th to Skyway after a major wreck and spilled load and fuel leak. The fuel spill, we're told, has been contained now, but this is still going to take some time to clean up. So the locals are closed, 47th to Skyway. All traffic is forced into the express lanes at 47th. There are ramp closures in that area between 47th and the Skyway. Inbound traffic is heavy, 87th to 79th, and then in the express lanes, 35th to Stevenson. It's 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Edens, Kennedy, okay. Eisenhower, 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 36 minutes, 355 to the drive. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Mild day ahead, occasional rain and drizzle. We'll top out at 47, and then temperatures begin falling toward 34 overnight with heavy rain, and we'll wake up tomorrow morning with an icy mix. It's 47 right now. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So ABC News is trying to do a make-good after spiking the Jeffrey Epstein story years ago when they had it. Of course, we know this from the undercover work of James O'Keefe at Project Veritas, the hot mic ABC News reporter.
Amy Robach.
Right, where she was talking about her frustrations with ABC News spiking that story. Now they've got like an 8-part podcast, and they launched last night with a 2-hour special profiling Epstein's accusers specifically, and there's some very difficult stories.
And all of these girls that he targeted were on the poor side of town. They lived in a trailer park, and this is one of the young girls that he got to recruit other girls.
For every girl I could bring him, he would give me $200 for them. Because I was so young and basically homeless, I felt like it was an opportunity for me to get on my feet, so to speak.
He would have one of his cars pick us up, and they would pick us up at the front of the neighborhood right here.
He just wanted the new face and the new girl. That was his addiction. And it was very much like an addiction. He would just hound me and call me and say, hey, do you have any girls? Do you have any girls?
She is indoctrinated to believe, when she's very young, that this is just what the rich and powerful do. Once you train a 14-year-old that this is okay, you've groomed her perfectly.
I hold such an extreme amount of guilt for bringing these girls.
He really just had middle schoolers and high schoolers all over Palm Beach running around and trying to recruit for him.
He was the client, he was the pimp, and he was the pedophile.
He would always have staff there. I would get this food made for me. We would see all these people that worked for him, all these adults, and nobody looked at us like, hey, what are you doing here?
And that's the thing that I took away. He had so much staff, and then the drivers who would come into these poor neighborhoods and pick these girls up. How did they not know what was going on? Because then when they would drive them home, they'd be bawling. These girls would be crying. They just wanted to get out of that room.
Of course they knew what was going on. I mean, of course they
why
did.
didn't they do
This
anything?
is called a criminal enterprise.
Yeah, okay.
That's why they didn't do anything, because they were being paid, because they were willing accomplices in this criminal sex trafficking enterprise. This isn't complicated. And by the way, just as a quick aside, in terms of that Epstein didn't kill himself, U.S. prosecutors saying on Thursday, surveillance footage taken from outside the late financier's cell in the period surrounding his first apparent suicide attempt was permanently deleted by mistake.
How does that happen?
So that, in addition to the 60 Minutes rundown a week ago that we discussed with all of the failures of law enforcement and the Department of Corrections, specifically here, obviously we're talking about the MCC. Now you've got that in addition to it. Not only do we have nothing from the night he died, now we don't have any surveillance video from his alleged first suicide attempt, because that was permanently deleted by mistake. More fodder for conspiracy theorists. But it's interesting, the Epstein story and the Weinstein story on trial in New York, more charges now pending in L.A.
And I'm going to take that phony walker of his away. Did you see when he got to the stairs that he just handed the walker to somebody else to walk down the stairs? So to try to drum up sympathy for himself?
Yeah, so those two stories are sucking up all of the oxygen with respect to, sex trafficking and sexual assault, Me Too movement, but it's bigger than that, right? Sucking up all the oxygen. Go back to what Ricky Gervais's monologue on Sunday night at the Golden Globes. Do you notice how many pedophile jokes there were?
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned Epstein. I know he's a friend of all of yours. He talked about pedophilia was big in the movies this year.
Yeah. Saving R. Kelly, or surviving R. Kelly, excuse me, and then, the Michael Jackson.
Surviving R. Kelly in season 2 right now. There's another one awaiting trial.
But what I learned last night is that former Palm Beach State's Attorney Barry Krishner, he declined to prosecute Epstein on serious sex charges back in 2006. I mean, how they had so much evidence. And it all started because one of the moms noticed that her 14-year-old daughter, who has braces on, by the way, had a wad of cash. And they just let it go because he's rich and powerful. It's like different rules for different people, and hundreds of girls were abused.
So is this a question in Hollywood, in entertainment, is Neverland, this documentary, and what Michael Jackson did, R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he's not entertainment per se, but there's certainly significant intersection, isn't there? There seems to be. Harvey Weinstein. But the other three in particular, because I don't believe there's any allegations against Weinstein of underage women. Are those one-off stories? A small, just a few predators but it's not a systemic problem in Hollywood. I'm not so sure about that. It's only 2 years ago that Corey Feldman came back, just 2 years ago, to name the person that abused him as a child actor. This marginal actor who ultimately was convicted of child molestation charges in the early part of the century. But Feldman went on the Dr. Oz show, named his accuser, and talked about Hollywood.
There was a circle of older men that surrounded themselves around this group of kids. And they all had either their own power or connections to great power in the entertainment industry.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it.
You want to talk about the truth? Okay, well, then let's talk about the truth. I was being molested at the same time by somebody else. What'd you do?
This is Corey Feldman and another actor talking about what happened to both of them.
Oh, my gosh.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
Naming the person.
This guy on his MySpace page and his Facebook page has got pictures of me and Corey Haim.
You're kidding me.
No, he still taunts it, flaunts it. So we understand you're willing to take a report about a crime that was committed, a sexual assault 20 years ago, 25 years ago?
All right, so we spoke to LAPD. What's your take on it?
I want to give them the names of everybody, and I told them that. I said, look, I'm going to give you the names of everybody I have any knowledge of, and I would like you to start putting the pressure on all of them.
2 years later, has that happened? I mean, there's been some Me Too allegations, I guess. I mean, Kevin Spacey comes to mind.
Yeah. Oh, and 2 of his accusers are dead. Weird. I mean, it's nothing nefarious, but it's just an irony of it.
I want to introduce you to Tiffany Fitzhenry. She's was a young up-and-coming screenwriter in Hollywood. Beginning in 1999, after studying film and screenwriting, I moved to L.A., landed an internship working for Arnold Kopelson, produced movies like The Fugitive, Devil's Advocate. Within a couple weeks, I was hired by John Davis, who produced Predator, Dr. Dolittle, Behind Enemy Lines, was groomed to become a development executive at that company who had a deal with 20th Century Fox. On my way to a 6-figure job at 21 years old, for a series of different reasons, I left Hollywood at that point. She moved away, she got married, had kids, but she still was active because she was producing treatments that were getting a lot of interest from top Hollywood producers, executives. She writes as the basis for what she's doing now. She talks about a feature script she wrote called Vicious Play. My reps were extremely excited about, prompted a meeting with a powerful producer named Bob Title, who produced Men of Honor, Soul Food, Barbershop.
Went to my high school and grew up down the street from me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I have a cell phone. You want to call him? I love Bob. He's a really nice kid. What kid? Gentleman, and I love his family. Good guy.
Maybe
not.
You're
going to
wish you hadn't said
this
that.
now?
He loved my writing and wanted to commission me to write Working Girls and or 9 to 5 for an urban audience. Though he was very clear, I'd have to dumb it down, saying, and I quote, I have to write less intelligently for black audiences, unquote. This made me want to vomit, said Miss Fitzhenry, and it was yet another lesson in my education of how this beast works, Hollywood, and all the dark things it's used to do.
Well, they used to tell us in reporting, don't use big words because the average reading level for our audience members is 7th or 8th grade.
The good news is that's the average reading level for the reporters, too. That night, Bob Title spent 30 minutes in the lobby of my hotel pressuring and trying to intimidate me into letting him come up to my room so that he could masturbate while I watched. Bob? I felt scared for my safety. I was looking around trying to determine what strong, trustworthy-looking man I was going to sprint to if it came to it. Bob made it clear it was all part of it, something I was going to have to do. I told him no, knowing it would negatively affect my career.
Bob? My Bob?
In
Mercy High School graduating class of 1986?
Sorry to break it to you. In 2017, after the Weinstein story broke, Fitzhenry writes, I began to understand what God was calling me to do and why he put me on this planet. And this is at a time I had a big-name star attached to produce another one of my projects, a TV pilot called Peaches, But I had come to understand that getting this show made was going to come down to me being willing to compromise myself to powerful people who then control me and thus control what I wrote. So she chucked it all. I've spent the last year confronting head-on this dark power system, educating as many people as humanly possible about how important storytelling is, how and why it's been hijacked, and trying to help take it back. She writes, stories shape society more than anything else. The concept of entertainment is possibly, without exaggeration, the biggest lie ever told. Pop culture has been an elaborate and well-laid plan by diabolical people who want to control you and rule the world, people who want to have their agenda over our planet instead of God's, using stories in order to accomplish their goals. So that's the backstory on Tiffany Fitzhenry before we get to one of the recent reports she did about a civil suit that was filed last fall by a woman named Tammy Garcia, going to this question of, is R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and Jeffrey Epstein one-offs, or are they examples of the culture in Hollywood? Is this systemic, dark system? And before we get to that story, Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Well, let me answer that question real quick. If you look, Dan, and do a little bit of research online about the rap industry, you'll hear a lot of people talk about how that's a huge part of indoctrination into who gets contracts. That industry is completely full of pedophiles as well. But my point is, Amy, do you really think that it's nothing nefarious that two people who are in their 20s, 30s suddenly die mysteriously right before they're going to go to court with Kevin Spacey? He's a huge Clinton hack. Of course. Who gets that lucky? Nobody in life gets that lucky.
It's kind of like, I know, it's so crazy.
Thanks,
it's like
Candace.
an episode of what's it? Oh my God, what's House of Cards? I mean, what happened to Kevin Spacey?
Life imitating art.
Yeah.
Well, so
Still a little rattled on the Bob Title thing, but okay, go on.
What about Disney? How about Disney running cover for pedophiles? We're going to have that story when we come back.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Names matter. Your name, the name you've made for yourself, and the name of the company you represent. Because of you, they're names people can trust. That's why at 4imprint, every name and logo is printed with certainty. We pay attention to every detail because we know the way your name appears is the way it's remembered. So you'll know for certain that every item, from the right apparel to the most popular tech items, will be right the first time, on time, every time, at a great price, guaranteed. Because when you have passion, integrity, and certainty, the only name they'll remember is yours. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4, imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
I'm starting to feel better, and I owe it all to Balance of Nature. I had to get off Balance of Nature for a few weeks. Bad and wrong decision because my immune system was shot. I think I had everything you can imagine. Cough, cold, obviously, the flu, stomach flu, and also a sinus infection, but no more. I'm going to stay healthy in 2020, and I'm going to boost my immune system. And you have to do that by eating well, and that means getting enough fruits and veggies, which I know we are not doing. So that's why I'm supplementing that with Balance of Nature. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear stories here all the time about how people's lives have changed dramatically by taking a Balance of Nature. And the next story could be yours, but you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself and make 2020 a year of better health for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping, and you'll receive an additional 35% off your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so do not wait. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonials based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI, US and ULO, 52 weeks, 7/14/19 by UPC.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton. All my life, I've had energy. Energy to win gold and raise my daughters. But when menopause hit me with the hot flashes and night sweats, I began to feel sluggish every day. Then I discovered Amberen.
Amberen is clinically shown to relieve 12 menopause symptoms. In fact, in a clinical trial, after 90 days of using Amberen, 91% of women had reduced hot flashes, 87% had better sleep, 77% had more energy. Amberen is estrogen-free.
I like the fact that Amberen is not a drug and that it's clinically tested, safe, and effective. Now, thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My night sweats are less and my energy's back. Amberen works. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine stores and see why Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
All right, I have the perfect way for you to start the new year off right. Of course, take balance of nature, but also give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep. And how can you do that? Well, ordering a MyPillow. It conforms to your neck and back. It really is the best pillow out there. You can also get their mattress toppers. There's new MyPillow towels. But right now, we still have the great offer of the Giza cotton sheets. You will sleep better with the brand new Giza cotton sheets. I know that I am. And right now, when you order one set, you'll get a second set for free plus free shipping. And if you add anything else to your order, like MyPillows or those mattress toppers or the pet beds, you'll get that delivered for free as well. There is a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Made in America, folks. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special box, and get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of 1 plus free shipping on your entire order. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. Don't forget the promo code Amy. Or call 800-489-0201 and tell them that Amy sent you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy continuing our conversation about Hollywood, whether there is a systemic problem of sexual exploitation of children there. This lawsuit from last fall that I mentioned, covered by Tiffany Fitzhenry at her blog, tiffanyfitzhenry.com. Check it out. She interviewed the mom who filed this suit. The mom, her name is Tammy Garcia. She and her son, Ricky, after he was discovered at a talent expo in Dallas in August of 2011, went to Hollywood with the talent to try to achieve their dream, borrowed $20,000 to do it. The grooming of both 12-year-old Ricky and his mother, Tammy, started right away. In the complaint, the allegation is that from the age of 12, Ricky was groomed, sexually abused, and raped on a weekly basis. That Joby Hart, who was his agent at a high-profile agency in Hollywood, passed him around as a sexual plaything to other powerful pedophiles throughout the business. Shortly after arriving in Hollywood, he teamed up with other representation, in addition to that Hart individual I mentioned. They went on an overnight songwriting trip, which was strictly no parents allowed. After these development people formed this boy band that included Ricky. No parents allowed.
Oh, my gosh.
Taken to Catalina Island by his agent, several songwriters, all adults. Once there, the young teens were plied with alcohol, including scotch, vodka, champagne, purchased and served by his agent and others. Both of the bandmates there drank to the point of being sick. After which his agent undressed, again, these are the allegations in the complaint, undressed, bathed Ricky. Ricky blacked out. He woke up the next morning naked in bed with his agent, having no memory of what happened. This began a pattern that would go on multiple times per week for 4 years, steadily progressing to include all forms of sexual abuse, including rape, as well as abuse by others in addition to Joby Hart, his agent. In April of 2015, Ricky started working on the Disney Channel show, Best Friends Whenever. It was going very well. The band was flourishing. They released several singles. Hollywood Records produced their first album. They were making multiple TV appearances, including on Good Morning America. In April of 2015, after attending the Radio Disney Music Awards, there was an after party at the home of Niles Larson, a manager who represents some big acts like Big Little Lies and Shailene Woodley, as well as Disney Channel and Hollywood record star Olivia Holt. According to the documents, an incident occurred involved Tammy's middle son, who'd been invited to attend the awards with his brother Ricky. Niles aggressively pursued the young man despite repeated attempts to inform Larson that he was straight. Ricky's brother ended up having to jump the fence and flee on foot to escape Larson's unrelenting sexual advances. In addition to the grooming of children by adults, also in the presence of the studio and label executives under the supervision of Joby Hart, Joby, who himself was drunk that night, left with the boys, driving them while intoxicated back to his house where they stayed the night. Ricky stayed, as was often the case, in Joby's bed and woke up next to Joby. This was a Disney party after a Disney concert filled with underage Disney stars, Fitzhenry writes, being plied with alcohol openly, where child molestation was going on openly, brazenly, all under the watchful eye of Disney employees. Disney, Frozen Disney. For the general public, it's hard to imagine anything more off-brand for the company that brought you these films that you know, but that's the fact. There's another incident at the home of Anna Faris and her then-husband Chris Pratt. These are huge stars, where there was the same sort of conduct. There was also him being passed around to women who were PR flags.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not kidding. Not kidding.
So they're everyone's boy toy. So sad.
After a CAA party, same thing. This punctuates, so in case you think this is one of Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne, who recently talked about this as well. She was another Disney star.
It is what it is. Like, it's like anything in my life. I mean, if you read the book, you'll be like, transitioning from Disney to this was fucking easy. I don't know. Getting molested for fucking from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances, or being physically abused all the time seems like a much more difficult situation than fucking have paparazzi following you since you were 12. I don't know. I was still being molested when paparazzi were still fucking following me. So it's pretty hard in my mind to think about these big flashlight photographs and everyone thinking they know me and talking about me, but having no idea the type of mistreatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing.
Sue them.
So I don't know. You tell me what's so hard. Because that, to me, way harder than any other of this other shit that I do on a daily basis.
There's a lot here. The suit that we're referencing with Ricky Garcia details upwards of 60 specific incidents. Again, near weekly abuse, near weekly for 4 years, abuse including rape and assault by multiple people. They tried to go to police, nothing has happened. They went to Disney executives, and there was actually an administrative assistant that told Ricky's mom what was going on. Still nothing happened. Toby Hart still represents this, just Joby Hart guy, still represents big acts. He's still working in Hollywood. Nothing has happened.
Different rules for powerful people, just like Epstein. The parents went to the police. They went to the sheriff's department, then the FBI. Nothing happened. He got a slap on the wrist, and he kept doing what he was doing. And had so many more victims would have been saved had the prosecutors just done their job.
Well, and this is the question, right? This is the question. Tiffany Fitzhenry concludes, these two have been to hell and back, Ricky and his mom, and they're here to make sure that what happened to them never happens to anyone else again. The question is anybody going to help them other than Tiffany Fitzhenry?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll go back to our discussion of that commercial airliner down by the Iranians when we talk to aviation expert Robert Mark at 6:36.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
47 degrees. Iran is denying it shot down a commercial jetliner headed to Ukraine. Former NTSB investigator Greg Feith shared what he believed happened in the air as Iran begins its investigation into causes of that crash.
There was a lot of evidence of puncture marks in various parts of the fuselage, engine casings, and other debris, which means that something external to the aircraft, like shrapnel, blew up and then punctured the fuselage itself.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada says the plane the crash that killed dozens of Canadians appears to have been shot down by an Iranian missile.
Canada is working with its allies to ensure that a thorough and credible investigation is conducted to determine the causes of this fatal crash.
In other news we're following this morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is going to send over 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump when she's, quote, ready, end quote. Landry's, the restaurant company that operates more than 60 different individual chain stores like Joe's Crab Shack and Morton's, says a 2019 data breach may have exposed customer credit card information. This morning, in Japan, Olympic athletes have been told they will not be allowed to take a knee at this summer's games in Tokyo. The new rules ban them from making any political gestures. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. National Weather Service says a mix of freezing rain and sleet is possible. On top of that, heavy snow later on Saturday and heavy winds. A Naperville man has pleaded guilty to aggravated DUI and reckless homicide charges following a crash that killed a Downers Grove High School student last February. Joseph Kucharski entered that blind plea yesterday in DuPage County Court. The news service of Ruby Tuesday. Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for a fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajita for only $7.99. Authentic flavors that turn a meal into a fiesta, only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday. 6:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With all the noise and political spin of the news cycle, it's easy for the things that really matter to get lost. Sources with knowledge cuts through all the clutter to bring you biting commentary on the week's events. This Sunday at 3 p.m., your hosts Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser bring you insight on politics and policy, as well as culture, sports, food, and everything else you need, so you can understand what's happened this week. It's Sources with Knowledge this Sunday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I just want to tell you that I can't believe what this has done, and I've only been taking it for, a couple of months? I don't know. I got to the point where I was very discouraged, and my energy was down, and I tell you, my wife says this stuff is wonderful. I feel so much better. My attitude is different, and my energy is good, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
The best picture of the year is 1917, raves Forbes magazine.
We've got orders to cross here. That is the German front line.
It's a soaring tribute to heroism that's both epic and intimate.
We need to keep moving!
The best war movie since Saving Private Ryan.
There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
1917, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
AM 560 Traffic Center time and Jim.
In Arlington Heights, crews are responding to a structure fire in Oakton east of Walnut. The outbound ride is still closed in the local lanes from 47th to the Skyway after a major rollover involving a landfill truck, a spilled load, and fuel leaks. The traffic diverts into the express at 47th. Prepare to slow down there. Ramps are closed in that area. Inbound, your delays are from 95th Street to the Skyway and Cermak to the Burns Circle. It's 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Yike, 34 minutes from 390. Stevenson, 39 minutes from 355. Station 4 just a little congested approaching the merge. Tollways are light. I'm Jim Alamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Mild day ahead. Rain and drizzle, high 47. Winter storm watches and warnings go into effect overnight with some heavy winds and a low of 34, with a strong icy mix picking up early in the morning, with the snow in the afternoon on Saturday, high 34. It's 46 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Just one more story on the topic we were discussing before Mike Scott's newscast.
Yeah, you got to repeat this. This is good.
So this is in the context of Tiffany Fitzhenry's reporting on this lawsuit filed last fall by a mom on behalf of her son who was allegedly sexually abused ritually for 4 years in Hollywood by all sorts of executives. And it speaks to this dark system in Hollywood, allegedly. But boy, there's a lot of evidence to suggest we should remove the descriptor allegedly. Here's another one. This was Lawrence Fishburne, the great actor from Matrix and so many other movies. People forget Lawrence Fishburne was a child actor, too.
Mm-hmm.
He was cast in Apocalypse Now when he was 14 years old. And several years ago, he was on with Terry Gross on Fresh Air, on NPR.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Gross, your father insisted on being on the set. She's talking about him being cast at 14 on Apocalypse Now. Your father insisted on being on the set. Fishburne, yes. And I read that he literally carried a baseball bat around. Fishburne, yes, he did. Terry Gross, did he beat you with it? Fishburne, what? No. The baseball bat was to beat anyone who got near me. There were a lot of drugs and goings-on that set my dad didn't like. This is Lawrence Fishburne at 14 years old.
Yeah.
This is 45 years ago.
So it's been going on since probably the beginning of time. Since the first film was made, I'm sure.
And it's also
but
something
that says a lot about the culture, and then it's how predatory it is, and you got to protect yourself with a baseball bat.
It's also something about we decry for some legitimate reasons the helicopter parents. But if you're going to be a stage parent, then you better be on set with your kid. If you've got somebody
every photo shoot, every read through, you have got to be there with your child.
Absolutely.
And I will never rip on anybody again for being a helicopter parent in that setting.
Yeah, so I just thought the Fishburne story was remarkable, so I wanted to share it. All right, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about aviation. One of the curious things about this downed commercial airliner in Tehran. On the night that Iran launched missile strikes against U.S. positions in Iraq. Hours before that plane was shot down by the Iranians, we believe,
yes.
Highly likely, the U.S. had issued a no-fly order over Iraq and Iran.
Right.
So when the U.S. is issuing no-fly orders, wouldn't that be a signal to
other airlines and other countries that, hey,
absolutely,
it might not be safe to go on? They boarded at 5:30 a.m., and it was dark there, obviously, and it was just an hour after they had stopped launching the missiles. So personally, as a passenger, I would not have gotten on that plane, but they did. They felt safe. The pilot obviously felt safe enough to take off.
Well, let's start there with Robert Mark, our friend, who's a senior editor at Flying Magazine and publisher of Jet Wine. That's WHINE, jetwine.com. Robert, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. Sorry it's under these circumstances as usual.
Yeah, I know. But what about that matter of U.S. Issues a no-fly or makes Iran and Iraq issues a no-fly alert, and yet that plane takes off? Should commercial airliners have been flying that night regardless of the mistake or the purposeful nature of taking down that plane by the Iranians?
Well, the no-fly was really only for U.S. registered aircraft.
I understand, but I mean, isn't that a signal? I mean, wouldn't that concern you if you're whoever you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's, I've been asked that before, and I said I find it so hard to believe that the crew was not aware of what was going on outside the airplane before they took off, and that's the captain's responsibility to say, no, we're not going. However, we don't know the circumstances under which the Ukrainian airlines operate. I mean, we have tons and tons of young pilots flying all over the world these days, and it's easy for an old guy like me to say, no, I'm not going, and I'm not taking all these people with me. But somebody that might be, early 30s, and it's their first flying job for a big airline, they might say, well, the boss said we got to go. I guess we got to go. And because I cannot imagine any other circumstances that would put that airplane into the air. You'd have to be completely daft to not realize that they were shooting missiles out there just not long before, and to say, this is not safe.
Now, there's 2 black boxes, and Iranian officials are finally going to let employees from Boeing go to the site and examine those black boxes. What are they going to learn from those? What do they hope to learn, I should say?
Well, I had not heard about Boeing. I knew the NTSB was going to be allowed to take a look. But what they're going to see is the recorders record every movement, essentially, of the airplane. And what we did know a couple of days ago was that something catastrophic took the airplane out of the sky. I mean, it didn't initially. They said it was a mechanical failure, maybe an engine failure, and that doesn't drop the airplane out of the sky. I mean, if an engine quits, the airplane still flies on the other one. Even if both engines quit, the airplane is still gliding. It may be coming down, but it's still under control. But this airplane just completely disappeared in a flash. And the flight recorders are going to show that instantaneous, we expect that they're going to show this instantaneous termination of all the information, which would kind of line up with something catastrophic. Now, of course, what we don't know, we still don't know for certain. We have lots of reports in the Western media that it was an Iranian surface-to-air, a Russian-made surface-to-air missile the Iranians used, but we still don't have the proof of that. That's the speculation.
The pilot, though, so talking about, I understand the pilot was rather experienced. The captain was rather experienced. It wasn't a young pilot feeling pressure for his big, to his first big job with a major carrier. Is that true?
Well, yeah, and I should have added that part at the end. I was going to say if it had been in a new pilot, you could have understood maybe why they did that, but an experienced captain, that's just beyond me. I just cannot understand that.
Well, so now let's go back to what happened. So there's some video footage you've probably seen where the plane is clearly on fire, and then it's descending, and it disappears behind a mountain range and explodes. But there's a report by witnesses that the pilot was able to steer the plane toward a soccer field and away from a residential area. I mean, that may be sort of a Rashomon effect issue. Eyewitnesses making determinations about what the pilot was doing. But if that is true, does that tell you anything about the prospect? Does that increase the prospect it could have been some sort of mechanical failure where he still had some control over the plane?
Well, I did see that report that there was a turn. We have to realize this all happened almost literally in a flash.
Yeah.
But of course, the missile, if it was indeed a missile, is not designed to strike the aircraft itself. It's designed to explode within the close proximity of the airplane, and basically send shrapnel through the airplane that destroys the thing. But
right.
So they may have had a second or two, but again, the whole flight it didn't even last 2 minutes, I believe. But one thing on the pilot side, though, we don't know for certain that that the pilot did not have those concerns and get some sort of assurance from the airline or the government that, no, don't worry, it's done, it's safe, it's all over, you can fly now. That may indeed have been the case.
And it's weird because I learned yesterday, I was watching CNN, but they said that the U.S. saw Iranian radar signals lock onto that airplane before it was shut down.
Well, that is the report. I mean, and again, it's hard to understand how any military batteries, especially right near Tehran's main airport, would lock onto a civil airliner and make that kind of a mistake. I mean, they knew the hostilities were going on, so there's probably going to be some kind of huge miscommunication issue here too. But then we've seen that somewhat before when that Malaysian airplane was shot down over the eastern Ukraine some years back.
Yeah, but I mean, there wasn't like Iran was taking any retaliatory or responsive fire, right? I mean, so what would they?
No, that's true.
What would they think that was? How could they see that as a threat in that context? And as you say, taking off from Tehran Airport and being in the air for 2 minutes. This whole it was an accident thing. I don't know. That is such a wild error in judgment. It's hard to believe it was an accident.
Well, I know. I guess I'm being a bit altruistic.
Yeah.
As a pilot and responsible for lives, but I just can't believe that anybody would have done that on purpose. And of course, there is history that the U.S. Navy shot down an Iranian airliner many years ago by mistake, and it does happen. But intentionally, I cannot imagine what anybody would hope to gain from this if they did it on purpose. I just can't believe that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you've got all kinds of Democrats and press flags blaming President Trump for the downing of that plane. So maybe the Iranians have a better handle on our political culture than we do. I wanted to get your take on something else. I don't want to have to drag you into the depths of politics here.
That's probably a good move.
Yes, I know. I know.
At 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't tell you this part of the interview, did we?
Right. So Boeing. I mean, this was a Boeing airliner that was shot down, but
not the Supermax.
Yeah. Well, and
it
obviously
was a 737-800.
And obviously, it's a completely separate and distinct issue. But there is an issue with Boeing and its internal documents that were released yesterday, about 150 pages worth, that show a lot of Boeing employees.
You're saying that a clown put together the 737 MAX?
He talked to, there's emails. Yeah, this airplane is designed by clowns who are in turn supervised by monkeys. Another mentioning unnamed quote-unquote morons who decided to put certain kinds of instrument displays on the MAX. One employee adding that India's top aviation regulator is apparently even stupider, quote-unquote. So, I mean, it raises all sorts of concerns, both internally with respect to Boeing and with respect to aviation regulators the world over.
Well, I mean, Boeing has certainly in the last year become the official U.S. punching bag. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that they haven't done some pretty stupid things, but, in the rush to get that airplane out there quickly to compete with the Airbus, I mean, it's cost Boeing its reputation, a reputation that took them 100 years to create. And there's no doubt that people tried to tell people at Boeing if there were problems, and they just simply did not listen because they were being driven by money, not by engineering and safety. And as you said, the FAA had a hand in this as well.
That's the thing. I mean, but the FAA seems to be in bed with Boeing.
Well, I don't know if I'd say they're in bed with them. It's pretty typical that FAA has never had enough inspectors to be able to have somebody or a number of people on the lines, on the production lines with an aircraft manufacturer. And they have people that go through very specific training within each aircraft company that FAA essentially gives them a license and says, okay, you're acting as one of us right now, and it's your job to be the gatekeeper and to make sure that things are getting done correctly. And the FAA said, you know, Boeing, you're really good at what you're doing, and you just kind of keep an eye on things and let us know if you have any problems.
Would you ever fly on a 737 MAX?
I'm sorry?
Would you ever fly in a 737 MAX?
Well, right now, I'm probably not the best person to ask because I probably know too much about it. But I still worry that as long as this has taken, and of course there was the issue of some of the wiring on board the airplane that may have to be looked at. We still don't know that the problem that brought the Ethiopian and the Lion Air crash, our airplanes down, is the only problem on board. We're just assuming it is because that's what Boeing is telling us. And I don't think anybody trusts Boeing at this point.
Right, and of course the countervailing evidence is that the MAX 8s that were part of commercial air carriers in this country, there hasn't been any problems, certainly no crashes.
No, and part of that goes to something that I think I heard mentioned earlier about the equipment on the airplanes. The U.S.-built aircraft all had dual sensors to warn the pilots that there was a disagreement between this angle of attack indicator that made the MCAS go off. Well, a lot of the other airplanes, like the Ethiopian and Lion Air ones, only had one. And in my life, I've never heard anybody build an airplane with one flight instrument in it. There's always been a backup. And redundancy for a reason, because things can go wrong and you need a backup. They added it as an option. And that's where I think they really lost me, because Boeing was a strong company for years. They still build good airplanes. But whoever came up with that idea was, what did you say, a monkey or a clown? I don't remember.
One of the two.
Probably both.
Robert Mark, senior editor at Flying Magazine, publisher of Jet Wine. That's WHINE, jetwine.com. Robert, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
In 2019, Illinois became the abortion capital of the Midwest. But what are you going to do about it? Join thousands at the largest pro-life event in the Midwest, Saturday, January 11th at the March for Life Chicago. Hear from keynote speaker and abortion survivor Claire Caldwell, the Chicago Bears' Pat McCaskey, Cardinal Supich, and many other pro-life leaders. Check out new and expanded events all day, including the convention at the Congress Plaza Hotel, a youth rally, the March for Life rally, and March at Daly Plaza, a dinner banquet, even swing dancing into the night. Purchase your tickets to the banquet and cocktail hour, sign up for a free fast pass to the convention, and find out more at marchforlifechicago.org. The 2020 March for Life Chicago theme is Life Empowers. Pro-life is pro-woman. The voiceless need a voice. March for babies, march for women, march for life. Visit marchforlifechicago.org today. That's marchforlifechicago.org.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're a police officer or firefighter retiring this year, please listen carefully. This message is for you. You have unique retirement challenges unlike any other occupation, thus requiring more complex solutions. Marty Gahn has been the trusted financial advisor to police and fire retirees for over 20 years. As a certified financial planner and retired firefighter, Marty has the experience and expertise to help you maintain a quality lifestyle during this next chapter. Do you want straightforward answers to questions regarding your retirement picture? If so, contact Marty at Gahn Capital Management today. The decisions you make today will affect the quality of your retirement over the next 20 to 30 years. If you're a retired police or fire professional, contact Marty today to schedule a complimentary consultation. Call 773-467-0000 or visit retirementfortheblue.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
This is Chicago's election station, AM 560. The Answer. WIND Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app and radio.com.
Show your proof. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's Iran's reaction, denying all the reports. The Ukraine passenger jet that crashed earlier this week was shot down. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
But Dave, the Boeing 737 crashed hours after Iran had fired missiles at U.S. forces in Iraq. And American, British and Canadian officials say it's highly likely the aircraft was shot down by Iran, perhaps by mistake. But the head of Iran's civil aviation department insisting we can say with certainty no missile hit the plane. He invites Western leaders to share any information they have. All 176 people on board were killed. Dave?
Simon, the missiles Iran had fired was in retaliation for the U.S. airstrike that killed a top Iran general.
He was a bloodthirsty terror, and he's no longer a terror. He's dead.
President Trump at a rally last night in Toledo, Ohio, also critical of House Democrats passing a war powers resolution to limit his actions against Iran.
You know, instead, they should be outraged by Soleimani's savage crimes.
Now, that resolution is non-binding, but 3 Republicans joined the Democrats voting for it, Congressman Matt Gaetz among them.
I think it's ludicrous to suggest that we are impairing the troops from doing their job by not doing our job articulated in the Constitution.
A week after the airstrike, Iraq's prime minister says he has told Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on a call last night to send a delegation to Baghdad to formulate a plan to withdraw U.S. troops. There was some drama at MacDill Air Force Base this morning in Tampa, Florida. It was put on lockdown over reports of an active shooter. That law order has been lifted. Turns out it wasn't the case. It was shots fired nearby. Base officials assisting Tampa police investigating. 2 new Fox polls have Tom Steyer surging in the Democratic race for president, moving up to second place in South Carolina, third in Nevada, helping Steyer qualify for next week's Democratic debate. Joe Biden leads in both states. America's listening to Fox News.
Clouds, some light rain in the area, 47 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. National Weather Service says a mix of freezing rain and sleet is likely tonight into tomorrow, changing over to snow showers. Some could be heavy. Wind gusts could top 40 miles an hour. Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan is refusing a request for an investigation into a possible rape cover-up. Madigan announcing yesterday he would not allow a subpoena to be issued for 2012 emails mentioning the cover-up of a rape in Champaign. The emails were exchanged between politician and lobbyist Mike McLean and former Pat Quinn Chief of Staff Jerry Sturmer and another top aide. McLean mentions the cover-up in an email designed to protect a state employee from being fired. McLean is a known confidant of Madigan. 2 members of the DePaul University track and field team credited with helping that young boy who was attacked by a coyote in Chicago. Ryan Taylor and Dominic Bruce drove off that coyote and then helped the boy, wrapping him in a sweatshirt while he was bleeding from the head. Reverend Clarence Smith Jr., pastor of a storefront church on Chicago's west side, has been indicted on charges alleging he stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from a federal program intended to feed needy kids, spending that money instead on a Bentley luxury vehicle and other personal expenses. And now the Chicago Tribune is reporting nearly a decade ago, Smith pleaded guilty in DuPage County to using forged signatures to swindle an elderly man's estate out of more than $100,000. Predators beat the Blackhawks last night 5-2. Bulls hosting the Pacers tonight. The news service of Ruby Tuesday. Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajitas for only $7.99. Authentic flavors that turn a meal into a fiesta. Only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager still doesn't understand the impeachment.
No member came here to impeach the president. How does she say that with a straight face? But truth is not a left-wing value. What they always say he violated the Constitution, but what did he violate in the Constitution? Has there ever been an impeachment where only one party wanted the president impeached? No. This is unprecedented.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson, bank account number 0040891, report to gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples.
7:07 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Metro trains are stopped on the Union Pacific West line due to a grade crossing incident near Lombard. The outbound Ryan still has a closure of the local lanes from 47th to the Skyway due to a major wreck and spill. Traffic is diverted into the express lanes. Prepare to slow down approaching 47th, but it's not a big backup. Inbound traffic is slow on the ride from 95th to the Skyway and from the Stevenson to the Bird Circle. Looking at a 25-minute drive, 95th to downtown. Eden's 20 minutes like Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 29 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to the Bird Circle. Stevenson now 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. I-57, 20 minutes, 90 to the Birds, Bishop 422. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, our meteorologist Steve Williams.
A winter storm watch and a flood watch, both in effect tonight. Rain and drizzle today, high 47. Rain could be heavy tonight, low 34. Strong winds tomorrow, some freezing rain on surfaces and some snow, a coating to an inch, high 34. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
46 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and the reaction from Beltway Media Flax to the news that it's highly likely that that Ukrainian airliner was downed by the Iranian government, the Iranian military. Whether it was an accident or whether it was purposeful is an imponderable at the moment. Susan Hennessy, she's a national security analyst for CNN. 176 completely innocent lives killed in the crossfire of reckless escalation Just an unbelievable tragedy. The crossfire of reckless escalation. What was the crossfire here? It appears that a missile, I mean, I know Iranian authorities dispute this, but it appears that a missile,
two of them actually,
took down this airliner. Was there a response fire that we're unaware of? The crossfire?
I mean, it's turned into a bipartisan blame game. Pete Buttigieg, former mayor of South Bend, tweeted,
"It's not a bipartisan blame game. It's a partisan blame game."
Excuse me, partisan blame game. Innocent civilians are now dead because they were caught in the middle of an unnecessary and unwanted military tit for tat. My thoughts are with the families and loved ones of all 176 souls lost aboard this flight.
AP, the Associated Press. What began with the drone attack on a top Iranian general rippled outward until dozens of Iranian Canadians and dozens of Iranian students studying in Canada were dead. So the proximate cause of the Ukrainian airliner that was down is Donald Trump taking out a terrorist general responsible for, according to the State Department, more than 600 U.S. soldiers' deaths, not to mention thousands of Iraqi soldiers and civilians. Everybody conceding he was a bad guy, but you know who's worse? Trump. That's essentially what they're saying. Listen,
and I'm surprised that they haven't blamed him for the 56 people who were killed during the stampede during Soleimani's funeral.
Right. Yeah. No,
Is that next? Is that going to come next?
Military tit for tat, ripple effect. This is consistent with the offerings all week, starting with the reaction to the order on Soleimani. Listen to Chris Matthews.
Let me ask you about what we should have done. I go back to the congressman on this. You know, when some people die, you don't know what the impact's going to be. When Princess Diana died, for example, there was a huge emotional outpouring. Elvis Presley in our culture. It turns out that this general we killed was a beloved hero of the Iranian people, to the point where, look at the people we got pictures of now, these enormous crowds coming out. There's no American emotion in this case, but there's a hell of a lot of emotion on the other side. Should our leaders know what they're doing when they kill somebody?
Dear Lord.
Princess Di, and then I remember the royal family ordered a strike in all the British tabloids right after her death with Dodi Fayed. Not to mention the premise that he's a beloved general, a revered general, the Washington Post headline. Just like al-Baghdadi was an austere religious scholar. Just remarkable. The worst person in the world, perhaps in American history, is Donald Trump. And no matter how bad you are, we need to maintain our focus on him because he is the greatest threat humanity's ever faced. They might as well just say that because that's what they're intimating.
Are they going to try to impeach him over this airliner going down?
Sure. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again by Bret Baier, Fox News anchor, special report, 5 p.m. Chicago time during the week. And also his new book, 3 Days at the Brink, FDR's Daring Gamble to Win World War II. Bret Baier, thanks so much for joining us. Looks like we've avoided World War III for the moment.
Morning. Yeah, I think we have yet to know what we don't know about Shia militias and Hezbollah and what they could do. But yeah, the off-ramp was there. It seems like the Iranians are taking it. And if you're an Iranian official, at the senior levels especially, you've had a bad week. You've lost your top military guy and the guy that was steering all the terrorist activity throughout the Middle East. You, in a show of what you said was force, kind of had a fireworks display into Iraq. And then it looks like you accidentally, we don't know that definitively, but accidentally shot down a commercial airliner with your Russian surface-to-air missiles that are designed to take out jets coming in from opposing forces. I think that's a bad week. I think all of this stuff you're talking about, you're right. I mean, it is. I know people at home can see it. Remember, this whole thing started with the killing of an American contractor, a guy that was working with U.S. forces, got a family in Texas, and he was killed by a Shia militia, Iran. We struck back. Then there was the protest on the embassy that was an effort to close it down at one point. And then the administration says this target of opportunity comes up with the guy that's causing the most trouble in the Middle East and has been for years, Soleimani.
Well, are we safer with Soleimani dead rather than alive?
I think that's up for debate, but if you ask the CIA director, according to the New York Times and others, Gina Haspel told officials that the world is better off and the U.S. is better off and safer with Soleimani gone.
Turning to impeachment, Nancy Pelosi saying yesterday that, one, in a great act of sacrifice, she's not going to go to the 49ers-Vikings playoff game this weekend because she's saving the world. But in addition to that, she'll turn over those articles of impeachment when she's darn good and ready, except it'll probably be soon. She's feeling the pressure to move this along, especially with McConnell saying, we're going to move this along next week.
Yeah, I think the pressure is really coming from Democratic circles, much more vocal on the Senate side that is not under the thumb of Speaker Pelosi. It was really humorous to see the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Adam Smith, yesterday come out on CNN and say, really, we need to move this over to the Senate. And then moments later, as if a barrage had hit his door, he tweets out, I misspoke. Speaker Pelosi can do what she wants. So it's very funny to see. It happened a couple of times in the House. The Senate's much more vocal, and you have 8 Democratic senators saying, let's move this along. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happens today, actually, the articles of impeachment, maybe about 5 p.m. on a Friday, Washington dump.
That's right. Yep. Well, I mean, Dianne Feinstein came out to Politico and said the longer it goes on, the less urgent it becomes. And I think that, a lot of Americans can relate to that because she's been sitting on this for 3 weeks, and I don't understand why.
Well, I mean, according to Time Magazine, she watched John Dean on CNN and said, and he came up with this idea, and she thought it was good to kind of force the Senate's hand. The problem was that Mitch McConnell is not a guy that you force his hand often, and he's definitely not now because he has the votes. The people who were in the middle considering witnesses, and still are, have signed on to the process starting and opening arguments and then taking a vote about witnesses. The longer you go, the further this gets from the memory of the American people.
And I know much of the big government media was celebrating the chiding the White House took from Senators Mike Lee and Rand Paul after their briefing, the Senate briefing on the Iranian strike of Soleimani on Wednesday. And there's even a piece in Bloomberg suggesting Mike Lee could vote to convict and remove the president from office. It's still this sort of fantasy scenario of how he's actually going to be convicted, except Mike Lee went on your show and said something very different than what leftist op-ed writers are suggesting.
Exactly opposite. Said on impeachment, said it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be over here. And no, I vote, and yes, I will vote to dismiss right away. That's a little different than voting to convict. And then his problem is not with the intelligence. And in fact, he was behind the strike on Soleimani. That was lost in the translation and a lot of the coverage. He's a constitutionalist and believes that Congress needs to be in the loop and a active partner in decisions that involve the possibility of going to war. And so is Rand Paul. He's a little bit more skeptical about the intelligence. But Lee, for example, said Soleimani should have been taken out. So yes, this often happens.
Yeah, but it was
when a Republican raises his hand and says, I have a problem with something, suddenly they are celebrated.
Yeah, did he talk about, his points of contention with the briefing? Because he did describe it as the worst briefing on a military issue that he'd seen in his 9-year congressional career.
Because he went on to clarify on the show yesterday that not because of the intelligence, but because of the fact that they would not say if they were stepping up and going to war and going to go after the Iranian president in Tehran, whether they would come to Congress or not. And that's his biggest issue on a constitutional war powers argument.
I wanted to get your take on where the Democrat and Democrat Socialist field for president stands. So interesting op-eds this week with respect to Bernie Sanders. Everyone from Jason Riley, who is op-ed writer or an editorial board member of the Wall Street Journal, to Matt Iglesias over at Vox, saying, Iglesias cheerleading Bernie Sanders. He's the best candidate. He's the best chance we have to beat Trump. Jason Riley saying, don't underestimate Bernie Sanders. He could very well be the nominee. I think it's unlikely he could be president. I don't want him to be president. But the D.C. press corps shouldn't be dismissing him. He's got staying power, as proven by the money he's raised and, frankly, just how he's come back, not just politically, but from a heart attack.
I mean, listen, the guy had a heart attack. The last candidate to have any health problems on the trail was Bradley, who had that and then fell off.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders not only kicked it in high gear, but is tied for the lead, according to recent polls, in Iowa and New Hampshire, could very well win both of those. And he has the most money exponentially of the Democratic candidates. And he's also got a ground game. So I think it's right to not dismiss Bernie Sanders as a possible Democratic nominee.
And also this week it was announced that Mayor Pete is going to do a Fox town hall. Is there designs or confirmations for any of the other Democrat candidates to do such things?
We're working on it, and I think that there'll definitely be some others. There may be some other things that happen before the end of this process. That
care to share?
Involve questioning, but I can't go down that road yet.
Okay.
As they figure out that our eyeballs on Fox News are pretty significant and varied. You know, Democrats, independents, and Republicans watch Fox by big numbers over the other competition. I think that there is a realization that there may be more Democrats and events before the end of the day.
Well, Amy Jacobson is available if you're looking for panelists if Fox hosts a Democrat presidential debate. So just keep that in mind.
That's good.
Brett Baer, Fox News anchor, special report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, weekdays. The book, 3 Days at the Brink, FDR's Daring Gamble to Win World War II. Brett, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.
You
Thanks.
too.
And just so you know, Quinn McCarthy, our producer, has read the book to his son, and he finished it last night.
Oh, nice. Very
his
good.
His son is 1.
I didn't know Quinn could read.
Oh, that's so mean. Bad, Dan. And Brett Baer joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Oh, it's almost 7:30, and guess what happens at 7:30, Dan? That's when I get myself a hot cup of water and put 3 Balance of Nature tablets inside the fruits ones, and it coats my throat, and it's helping me boost my immune system.
Today, and it also makes reading the Bureau of Labor Statistics jobs report more enjoyable for you.
It does. It's all in the delivery, let me tell you. But right now, this new year, make a commitment to yourself to get healthy, and to do that, you have to boost your immune system, because it's only January, folks, and experts are predicting a terrible flu season this year. So the best way to stay healthy, again, is to boost your immune system. And you can do that by eating well, and that means getting enough fruits and veggies, which I know we aren't doing. So what I started doing, and what you should start doing, is take Balance of Nature. Again, 6 capsules, you're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. So make the Balance of Nature difference for yourself and make 2020 a year of better health. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. And get this, you'll receive an additional 35% off your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so do not wait. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago, or simply go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, I like to think that we're always finishing the drive to the end zone and not just blocking and tackling for our clients. We want them to be ready for the big game, their retirement.
That's right, Craig, and our whole team at Wealth Management Group has their game face on and is ready for 2020.
Make a tactical maneuver to make Wealth Management Group part of your financial force.
Pick Wealth Management Group as your offensive line. Visit us at investwithwmg.com and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, so you know they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. Our friend Joe Remke and his family.
And his beautiful wife, who's probably working out right now. She's a morning workout queen.
Wow, you know a lot about her.
Oh, they're wonderful people.
No, they really are. They're also experts, and the experts at Remke's service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck, but you aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your number one dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, REMKES, garage.com.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, remember it was just 4 short years ago when we thought we had said goodbye forever to Lincoln Chafee.
Good night, America. Bye forever.
Yeah, no, he's back.
What?
Lincoln Chafee, the
I thought
former...
he passed away.
No, he didn't pass away.
Why do I think everybody died?
The former Rhode Island governor, yeah, incredibly. Why was he Rhode Island's governor? Because he was the son of John Chafee, that's why. He was a 2016 candidate for president, you remember.
Yeah.
This past Sunday, he filed to run under the banner of the Libertarian Party. He's been a Republican. He's run as a Democrat. Now he's trying his turn at being a Libertarian. Now, frankly, you know, he's hardly the only politically promiscuous candidate in the field. Michael Bloomberg's been all of the above, too, just about, except Libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you remember in 2016, he was like living in Canada.
Right. He wasn't even in the U.S. Where does he live now?
Maybe he's late to file to run against Justin Trudeau for Canadian prime minister, and he's just very confused because if you remember from his performance during the handful of debates he was in 2016, very confused was sort of his MO.
He always looked disheveled and.
Yeah.
You know, like just he was always late to the party.
I think it's the result of drinking milk from bags, which they do up there in Canada.
And it's warm milk, too, or isn't it room temperature?
Also, just a little, Joe Biden. You know, everywhere Joe Biden.
He's so weird.
Everywhere Joe Biden is in the lead.
Yeah.
He seems to be faltering. There's this push of some new candidate to challenge him. So now we have the prospect of Tom Steyer moving on Joe Biden in both South Carolina and Nevada based on his, advertising blitz. Joe Biden.
Have you seen one of his campaign rallies? I mean, you talk about Ambien television. It is really bad, Dan. I forced myself to watch one. He had one outside of Waterloo, and it was mind-numbing. He cannot be our next president.
Also, too, can you win a Democrat Socialist nomination if you don't have the support of any Hollywood stars? I don't know that there's causation, but there's certainly correlation, right? Who they know who the hot socialist is. That's why they backed Obama in 2008, and they don't like him. And they backed Sanders in 2016, and a lot of them are backing Sanders now. What are the Hollywood celebs backing Joe Biden? Vivica A. Fox and Sean Patrick Thomas. Sort of a fun piece in a Hollywood blog.
Vivica Fox was in Soul Food.
Okay. Yeah.
Produced by Bob Title.
Everything goes back to Bob
Everything
Title.
goes back to Bob.
I wonder if she's got some Bob Title stories. But I don't know. It just doesn't mean much, but it's just sort of interesting, especially the vice president of Hollywood's favorite president ever, Barack Obama. And there's no residual goodwill from all those Hollywood types who supported Obama and continue to support the Obamas and help them become billionaires for old Scranton Joe. Look, I'm still behind the guy because I think he's the weakest candidate that they can nominate. But I don't know if my support's going to be enough, Amy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, contributing editor to National Review, about the impending impeachment trial, which is supposed to start next week, per Mitch McConnell. That's at 7:37.
And Coyote caught, but do they have the right one? But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
By the way, our friend Lincoln Chafee, a registered voter in the village of Teton Village, Wyoming, as of 2019.
Oh, so he went from Rhode Island to Canada to Wyoming.
To Wyoming. Well, he's close to Canada.
Teton
Village in Yellowstone.
I wonder how Harrison Ford thinks about that.
We'll see. 47 degrees. Puerto Rico Governor Wanda Vasquez just met with reporters. She believes electricity on that island should be back by Monday. Worst earthquake in more than a century knocked out power to the entire island and the territory's biggest generating plant earlier this week. The NTSB will take part in the investigation into the plane crash in Iran that killed 176. Former NTSB investigator Greg Feith shared what he believed happened in the air.
There was a lot of evidence of puncture marks in various parts of the fuselage, engine casings, and other debris, which means that something external to the aircraft, like shrapnel, blew up and then punctured the fuselage itself.
It's unclear what role the NTSB may have. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says Speaker Nancy Pelosi does not have the authority to continue holding articles of impeachment.
And she has the gall to say she wants to determine what happens in the Senate? Maybe she's more concerned that her case is so weak.
The House passed along party lines a resolution yesterday demanding limits on the president's power to order military action against Iran.
What the president did was a grave miscalculation. But we can't change the past. We can only shape the future.
That's Massachusetts Democrat Jim McGovern. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm overnight. A mix of freezing rain to begin and sleet, changing to snow, some of that very heavy in the northern suburbs. While that coyote that attacked a couple of people this week may have been rounded up, a reported coyote yesterday near Oz Park, a different coyote, according to investigators, prompted a brief lockdown in Lincoln Park High and Lincoln Elementary. Federal prosecutors say a Chicago judge was too lenient in sentencing a man to 16 years in prison for plotting to detonate a car outside a crowded bar. In a court filing made public yesterday, prosecutors are now asking the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to vacate the sentence handed Adel Daoud last year by Judge Sharon Coleman. Predators beat the Blackhawks 5-2. Bulls and Pacers on tap later on tonight. Tomorrow, Fighting Illini host rapidly improving Rutgers in Big Ten hoops. The news service of Staples. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains the conflict with Iran.
None of this should be really hard to understand. It's not that difficult.
to know that this is a huge, huge step forward to making the world a safer place with all the evil that we know exists in it. We are talking about the #1 state sponsors of terrorism around the globe.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350-350. That's LIKE to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson to talk about my incredible experience with Online Trading Academy. I signed up for my own free class, and you can too. You'll be introduced to skills to take control of your financial future. You'll learn the right moves to make when the economy turns and how to spend less time worrying about life and more time living it. You know, no one else will ever care about your financial future as much as you do. It's time for you to start learning how to invest in you. Seats are limited. Just call 844-778-7132 to attend and get 2 free passes to their next class so you can check this all out. And if you call right now, they will send you home with their Professionals Insider Kit. It's loaded with exclusive investing courses and some of their best lessons from the pros. This is a limited opportunity and seats go quickly, so call 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132, or visit them online at otaclass.com, otaclass.com.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
7:36 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim Telemonte.
Metro reports major delays and cancellations on the Union Pacific West line due to a grade crossing incident near Lombard. The outbound Ryan local lanes remain closed. 47th Skyway after early morning rollover and spilled load. Traffic is diverted into the express lanes at 47th. Inbound delays are 95th Skyway from the Stevenson to the Burns Circle. It's 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy, 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to the Burns Circle. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State, traffic is slow. Plainfield Road to 31st. From the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Northbound Veterans Memorial tight, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. The day setting up to be pretty mild, especially for the morning. Occasional rain and drizzle and a high of 47. Turning breezy with rain, turning to ice and sleet overnight, a low of 34. Currently 48 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. While Trump was making his way to Toledo, Ohio for a rally, Nancy Pelosi was holding forth before the assembled press. And, she's been annoyed, but she answered the questions anyway. How dare you question her? She will turn over those impeachment articles when she's darn good and ready.
You will keep asking me the same question. I keep giving you the same answer.
As I said right from the start, we need to see the arena in which we are sending our managers. Is that too much to ask? In October, we put forth HR 660, which is House resolution, which talked about the terms under which we would proceed further to further proceed with the investigation, so that people knew what the battlefield would look like. We expect to see that.
Pressed again on it, though. She provides more pushback until she doesn't.
So are you willing to hold on to the articles indefinitely?
I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
And that will probably be soon.
And then there was rumors yesterday within the next 24 hours. We just had Brett Barron, who says that it'll probably happen at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
The Friday dump before the weekend.
Yes, exactly. And this against the Mitch McConnell signing on to Josh Hawley's resolution, senator from Missouri we talked about earlier in the week, which would give the House 25 days to send the articles of impeachment over. After that, a senator can offer a motion to dismiss with prejudice for failure by the House of Representatives to prosecute such articles with a simple majority vote. And apparently McConnell also indicating to his caucus that we're going to begin next week, articles or no articles. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor to National Review, author of the book Ball of Collusion, The Plot to Rig an Election and Destroy a Presidency. Andy, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, good morning.
Morning. And so this seems to be Nancy Pelosi finding out she doesn't have the leverage she thought she had.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're in a hurry to disabuse her of that reality. I think McConnell's first instinct all along has been right, which is, if she's not in a hurry to send them over, we're not in a hurry to have them. And every day and every minute that she doesn't hand them over, this comes to seem like exactly what it has always been from the start, which is a political stunt. And we get to rehash the fact that they told us again and again they had to act expeditiously. They couldn't litigate to see if they could get access to the main witnesses. We couldn't wait for the sovereign, the American people, to decide President Trump's fate in November. We had to be in a hot hurry to do this because Donald Trump was a clear and imminent threat to the election. And now, once they got their impeachment articles voted, they said they weren't in such a hurry. So, I just think it looks like it's such naked politics that the Republicans should be delighted to let it look that way.
Can you imagine a scenario where it would make any sense to have witnesses in this proceeding, to open the door to Bolton and Mulvaney and Biden and the whistleblower and so forth?
Well, I can, and the reason is because McConnell does not have, right now in this battle with Pelosi over whether she's going to do the ministerial act of delivering the articles of impeachment, he's playing a strong hand. But once the proceedings actually get into the Senate, his margin for error is not great, or his margin for losing Republicans. And, if 3 or 4 Republicans decide that they would like to hear witnesses, it will be hard to stop that from happening. And what I've always thought was that witnesses were the tripwire here. Because I don't think you can have some and not have both sides have the ones that they want. So I don't see that you have a proceeding from the president's standpoint. I could see the president saying, look, if you want to have a bifurcated proceeding where the House managers come in and present the case, the Republicans and the president's counsel get to rebut it in a kind of a lawyerly, argumentative way, and then the senators can vote on whether they think this is worthy of further proceedings and witnesses and the like, or want to dismiss it on the basis of what they've heard, that's fine. But from Trump's standpoint, if you're going to start having witnesses, like if you're going to give them Bolton and Mulvaney and all these people that the House didn't call in the impeachment stage, and you're going to present those people in the trial, then I think Trump is going to want his witnesses too, and then it's off to the races.
Well, right. And doesn't the scenario that you just described answer your previous question about why not just sit back and wait for Pelosi to deliver the articles of impeachment rather than sort of precipitate the trial as McConnell seems intent to do? It's because, and this was sort of Trey Gowdy's point too, is because you don't want to go into the trial with unknowns. You don't want to go into the trial with new witnesses. So let's get this thing moving. Both sides can present their case. And if we've got the votes, let's vote our shares post haste.
Yeah, the reason I disagree with that is because I think the longer she delays delivering it, the stronger the argument is to dismiss it on basically on the papers without hearing from witnesses. In other words, if you had a real impeachable offense, they wouldn't be able to wait to get this to a Senate trial.
Right.
They'd want it at a Senate trial immediately. The reason that you're having this kind of gamesmanship is because they know that what they're delivering is a frivolous case. And I think every day that she delays, it looks more and more nakedly political, which makes it a stronger argument to dismiss it without witnesses.
Who's going to be President Trump's chief counsel? And please tell me Rudy Giuliani is going to be nowhere near this.
Well, I don't think Rudy will be, Rudy's in a position of potentially being a witness if there are witnesses. So I don't think he would be participating as a lawyer in the proceeding. Now, look, the president can take advice from whoever he wants to take advice from, but I don't think he will have Rudy participating as a lawyer in the proceeding. I imagine it will be the White House counsel's office, and the president may have some outside counsel as well.
Mike Lee, senator from Utah, had an interesting op-ed in Fox News website this week. He's a strict constructionist, so he actually referred back to the Constitution that Nancy Pelosi likes to refer to on again, off again, sort of in the abstract, what she wishes were in the Constitution. But he talked about the Senate's responsibility per the Constitution when it comes to being the responsible party, the trier of fact. And he said, this idea that we're just a jury, that's wrong. We're not just a jury. And this was actually a point that was litigated in the Clinton impeachment. Tom Harkin, Democrat from Iowa, objecting to the use of the term jury, and then Chief Justice Rehnquist sustaining that objection because, as Lee argues, we absolutely are more than just the trier of fact. We do have to take politics into consideration. It's actually part of our responsibility to make decisions in the best interest of the American people with respect to removing a president from office, and that necessarily is in part a political calculation.
Yeah, Lee is right about that. The senators are not just the jury. The Senate runs the proceeding. They're the judge too. The only reason that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is there presiding is really more of a ministerial and appearances thing than anything else. And what I mean by that is normally the Vice President of the United States is the President of the Senate, but it would be unseemly to have the Vice President preside over a proceeding where if the President gets removed, the Vice President becomes the President. So the framers, realizing that was not a good conflict situation to stray into, had to have a situation or have a construct where the Chief Justice at least appears to be presiding, but the Chief Justice's role is very ministerial. The Senate runs the proceeding. To the extent there's law of the proceeding, the Senate decides what it is. The Chief Justice's authority is very minimal. And when we talk about politics here, we're not talking about politics in the kind of pejorative sense we usually throw the word around. Impeachment is about the stripping of political power, and that's the check that's been given to the Senate in the Constitution. So they absolutely have an obligation in this proceeding to take control over the ultimate question of whether the president's political power should be stripped. And that entails not only making the ultimate judgment, but making all of the rulings along the way that decide whether that happens or not.
I've got another argument in terms of why McConnell should expedite this. That is so that we can get done with this impeachment and then we can get on to the next one. Because I'm excited to see what the next articles of impeachment are going to be.
Yeah, well, they are not shutting down their investigation. That's true. And, be interesting to see if they have the audacity to throw more articles at the Senate while the first proceeding is still underway. But, look, Dan, that'll just underscore what a farce this is. And again, I've been saying for a long time now, impeachment has an eye test. We grapple with the idea of the abstract legal definition of what a high crime and misdemeanor is. But the simple fact of the matter, and the framers brilliantly made this construct, if you don't have misconduct that's so egregious that it moves the public such that there's political pressure on 2/3 of the Senate, a supermajority, to transcend their political and ideological ties and vote to remove the president, you don't have an impeachable offense. And I still think that, let's say you had a situation where Mueller had actually proved that Trump was in cahoots with Putin. If that had been proved, it wouldn't matter where in the election cycle, where in the electoral calendar you were. If that fact had been proved, the American people would demand that the president be removed from office, and that would happen instantly.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if you really had an impeachable offense here, there would be no gamesmanship about getting the proceeding rolling in the Senate and the House transmitting those articles. They'd be anxious to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you can't even get 2/3 of the senator's constituents interested, much less applying pressure. Andy McCarthy, former chief assistant U.S. attorney, contributing editor at National Review, the book, Ball of Collusion, the plot to rig an election and destroy a presidency. Andy, thanks as always for joining us and providing your insights. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
The American economy remains strong, and both business owners and employees are enjoying the benefits. Here at AM 560, we want to celebrate the businesses that are thriving. Are you a business owner who is part of this great American success story? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking our show out on the road. We'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses enjoying success as they serve their customers and clients through the hard work of their employees. We want to hear your story, share your success, find out what makes your business run. It's the Signature Bank Business Tour. To submit your business for consideration, just go to businessbanktour.com. That's businessbanktour.com. And we might be broadcasting from your location in the near future.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I love the products. I haven't had a cold since I've started. My grandkids get sick all the time, and I don't catch what they have. I'm going to be 68 tomorrow, and I'm in great shape, and I'm very grateful. I know the Balance of Nature, the simplicity of it and the purity of it has just been a tremendous blessing for me.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
At Quicken Loans, our 17,000 team members know that home is so much more than a house. That's because our clients tell us all the time. Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, and we want to help you save money on your mortgage with some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. Pay off some credit card debt or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.23%. That's right, 3.99%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution for you. That's 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, that's right. Wall-to-wall coverage on this show. I know everybody's excited about it. Ken Jennings, James Holzhauer, the Jeopardy GOAT tournament, day 3 last night. Man, this is getting good, huh?
I know. Our guy didn't do so well.
Yes. Spoiler alert in case you taped it on your Betamax.
I'm
and
actually
haven't seen it
watching
yet.
now because of you.
Yeah, good. See? I mean, it's catching
You're
the...
rubbing off on me.
it's-
Everyone gather around the TV.
It's sweeping the nation. All right, so...
But it is a historical event, really.
So here's the funny... So Jennings ends up being the winner last night. So now he's got 2 victories to Holzhauer's 1, and then Rue's got none. And remember, the first 1 to 3, so it could happen tonight.
I know, tonight could be it.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, I can't wait.
And these guys are so cool. I love these guys.
I love when they profile, too. They do these little, behind the scenes about their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're interesting people. They're not just...
Holzhauer had a son and a wife.
Yeah, they're just not nerds.
That he watched Jeopardy growing up with his grandma, and he promised her, I will be on Jeopardy someday. And he fulfilled that promise to his grandma.
It's a tearjerker.
It is.
And speaking of Holzhauer's wife, this is great. So after he lost to Jennings yesterday.
Well, he went all in on a daily double and didn't answer the question correctly.
So he tweeted, "My wife is going to make me role play as Ken Jennings tonight." And then Ken Jennings replied, "It's all about timing on the button."
Oh, hey-oh.
See, now that's some good-spirited.
That's
those
fun.
are 2 good-spirited competitors. That's great. All right, now we got to
All right,
do the final Jeopardy questions.
I did watch.
Yes, so you already know the answers.
No, I don't.
The final Jeopardy, in game 1, the final Jeopardy answer was, these 2 now defunct parties each gave the U.S. 4 presidents in the 19th
Bing,
century.
bing.
That would be the 1800s. Yes.
What are the Democratic, Republican, and Whigs?
Yeah, but you watched. Did you actually know
No,
that?
I actually knew. I knew Whigs right away.
That's an easy one. You should have got both. It's easy.
Okay, you know what?
Now, the second
Pipe
one...
it down over there, Sally.
The second one was difficult. And here again, I've split all 3 nights on the final Jeopardy question. I've gotten one right and the other one wrong. But I'm happy that this one, nobody got right.
Don't look at me. I ain't getting this right.
These 2 foreign-born directors have each won 2 Best Director Oscars, but none of their films has won Best Picture.
I defer to Mike Scott.
So I got... all right, my Mike Scott, go ahead. You take a shot at it.
Who or what is Roberto Benigni?
No.
Okay. That was my first guess.
That's not bad. He got Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful.
But didn't Life is Beautiful win Best Picture?
I thought it won. Did it?
Yeah,
I think it did.
I thought it won Best Director, but you might be right. Yeah.
So Ang Lee is one of them. I got that.
For what film?
Well, Ang Lee won Best Director for Life of Pi.
Oh,
and
right.
Brokeback Mountain.
Ang Lee did Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, he did. And my second guess was Kurosawa. But
Seven Swords, right?
Yeah. And Rashomon and
yeah. That's right.
Oh yeah.
But
I saw them all.
But
it's great.
But who
What
are
Star Wars was based on?
But the other director, and it's a recent one too. I just wasn't
can
thinking.
I guess?
Alfonso Cuarón.
Cuarón,
Yeah, who got it for Roma and then also for Gravity, which was a terrible movie. Should have never won
Gravity
Best
was-
Director, or shouldn't be Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, even as a
Yeah. So that was it. So that's a Cuarón in English. So tonight may be my last night to get both Final Jeopardy questions right. So I'll be sure to tell you on Monday because I know how interested everybody is, like
You
I
nerd.
am.
You're such a nerd.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, job numbers are in. It is 8 a.m., folks. WIND, Chicago.
The unemployment rate remains at a 50-year low. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's despite slightly less hiring last month than expected. Fox's Janika Sola here live to detail the just released reports.
Dave, the unemployment rate was 3.5% in December. Employers added 145,000 jobs, slightly below the economist forecast, and the increases for November and October were updated to slightly weaker levels. The amount of Americans working in December held steady, though. The labor force participation rate unchanged at 63.2%. And Americans were making a little more money. Average hourly earnings were up 2.9% over the past year, though that's the smallest annual gain since July of 2018. Dave?
And Jenny, not much reaction on Wall Street. Stock futures are up like they were before the report the day after the market hit record highs again. Iran is denying the reports the Ukrainian passenger plane that crashed this week after takeoff was shot down, killing all 176 people on board, calling on the U.S. and Canada to share the intelligence.
The best information we're getting is from U.S. spy satellites who keep a constant watch on countries like Iran and look for the infrared heat signature of a missile launch. It's one of the ways the U.S. knew about Iran's attack on our bases using ballistic missiles, and defense officials say those same satellites picked up the launch of 2 surface-to-air missiles and then the explosion of that passenger plane.
Fox's Leland Vitter. Iraq is making another push to get American troops out.
The Iraqi parliament voted last Sunday to kick U.S. troops out of the country after the U.S. targeted killing of that top Iranian general near Baghdad airport. Well, now the Iraqi prime minister is asking Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to send a delegation to Iraq to figure out how to get those troops out of the country.
Fox's Rick Leventhal. President Trump last night defended the airstrike that killed a top Iran general.
He was a bad guy.
In a rally in Toledo, he also criticized House Democrats for passing a war powers resolution to limit his actions against Iran. America's listening to Fox.
Cloudy skies, light rain showers, 47 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND, Chicago. Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. Periods of rain and sleet mixing with ice overnight into tomorrow morning, changing to snow tomorrow afternoon, up to 6 inches in spots, and wind gusts as high as 40 miles an hour. Police in several northern suburbs this morning are warning residents after a string of several burglaries to homes and cars. Burglaries have been reported in Kane, McHenry, DuPage, and parts of Cook counties. A Naperville man is pleading guilty to aggravated DUI and reckless homicide charges following a crash that killed a Downers Grove High School student last February. Joseph Kucharski entered a blind guilty plea yesterday in DuPage County Court. The 52-year-old initially pleaded not guilty last March. Prosecutors say Kucharski was driving while intoxicated when he ran a red light and killed 17-year-old Elizabeth Dunlap in February of 2019. The state of Indiana charges a 7% sales tax on a lot of things at the grocery store: marshmallows, mouthwash, and yes, even feminine hygiene products. Now, one Indiana lawmaker wants to roll back that tax. Indianapolis State Rep Carrie Hamilton says the tax on hygiene products punishes women. Predators beat the Blackhawks 5-2. Bulls and Pacers on the schedule for tonight. Tomorrow, the Fighting Illini host a rapidly improving Rutgers basketball team. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The market will be reacting today to the Labor Department's December employment report. Barron's magazine says gasoline prices could top $3 a gallon this year, even without Mideast tensions. Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy tells Barron's the reason is seasonal gasoline changes and refinery maintenance. Eli Lilly is buying a medical dermatology company, Dermira. It's paying more than $1 billion. Dermira has an experimental treatment for dermatitis. European budget airline Ryanair surprised Wall Street by reporting a strong Christmas and New Year travel period. It also says bookings for January to April are up 1% over the previous year. More people are streaming music. Nielsen Music's annual report says combined streaming topped $1 trillion in 2019. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Huatuco, Mexico. You'll stay at the Secrets Huatuco Resort and Spa from March 28th through April 4th. It's a beautiful, adults-only, unlimited luxury resort located on Conejos Bay. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. Presented by Joe Cotton Ford.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson, bank account number 0040891, report to gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
8:07 AM 560 traffic center time and Jim Telemonti.
Metro trains are moving again outbound on the Union Pacific West Line, not inbound after a grade crossing incident in the Lombard area. The outbound Ryan has delays approaching 47th, but the locals remain closed. 47th to the Skyway after a major rollover involving a truck hauling garbage. Inbound, we're looking at a travel time now of about 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Edens is fine. Kennedy, 37 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. No savings to the Express. Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to the Burn Circle. 40 from Manheim. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to the Drive. I-57, 20 minutes, 90 to the Merge. Bishop, 425. Northbound Tri-State is very heavy from the Stevenson to 31st. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and Steve Williams.
A winter storm watch tonight, flood watch tonight as well. Occasional rain and drizzle today. Look for a high of 47. Rain and breezy tonight, low 34. Winds will be strong tomorrow. That rain freezing on some surfaces. Could see some snow. Look for a high of 34. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
At 8:08, time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SCAL, and time to check those updated temperatures. 48 at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Mannequin runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when.
Yeah, that's Illinois' Piano Man, and getting more and more demographic data in. And we like to pour over it from time to time just to take stock. Wirepoints.org had a good piece on this. 93 of Illinois' 102 counties lost population since 2010. Yeah. Illinois' population dropped by 100,000 between 2010 and 2018. Only, as pointed out, 9 of the counties have been spared. This, by comparison, states like Indiana added 200,000 to its population. Fast-growing states like Tennessee, South Carolina added more than 400,000. Florida, Texas, California have added millions during the time when Illinois has lost 100,000. And where are they going? Justin Fox, who's an op-ed writer for Bloomberg, had a good piece on this. Where Illinoisans are moving. This is during that same period, based on data from tax returns the last decade, 2010, 2018. 75,000, in the first place, 75,000 plus moved to Florida. 69,000 plus moved to Texas. 55,000 plus moved to Indiana. It's not just the weather. 41,000 plus moved to Wisconsin, 36,000 to Arizona, 25,000 to Colorado, 24,000 to Tennessee, 22,000 to Georgia, 20,000 to Missouri.
Wow.
Justin Fox makes the point that domestic migration statistics frequently cited evidence of the failure of blue state governance, in particular the higher taxes imposed by states that are losing lots of residents. There's something to that. But California, Illinois, and New York have all experienced bigger per capita personal income gains than the nation as a whole since the beginning of 2010, and saw taxpayers with incomes below $50,000 overrepresented among the leavers from 2011 to 2018. So these departures may indicate failures of governance as well, but it's a different set of governance failures, presumably related more to housing costs, commutes, job opportunities than taxes per se. Wrong. Sorry, Justin, wrong. Number one, that's a failure to connect dots. Other failures of governance related to housing costs, commutes, job opportunities, that's connected to tax policy and spend policy, which is connected to tax policy. Isn't it, Justin? My house costs too much because I pay the highest property taxes in the nation. That's why I have high housing costs. My job opportunities are less because people are leaving the state, productive people. Businesses don't want to come here. I mentioned earlier in the week about one commercial property analyst who says basically his institutional investors have redlined Chicago. So when you have the flight of capital and productive capacity, you see job opportunities go down. Commutes, yeah, I can't afford to live close to my job because of all of the taxes and the cost of living here that's driven by the government when Illinoisans pay the highest combined state and local tax burden in the country. Number two, Illinois has the biggest spread between the incomes of people leaving and the incomes of people coming in. So Justin's got his data point there reversed, even though he's got some otherwise interesting data about where New Yorkers and Californians and Illinoisans have moved. In fact, the individuals who have left, the median income is north of $70,000. The individuals who have come, the median income is just above $50,000. That $20,000 spread, round numbers, is the largest in the nation. So, yeah, we're turning into San Francisco with the uber wealthy, the beneficiaries of transfer payments, nothing in between. But don't think that you have all sorts of sort of upwardly mobile entrepreneurial types flooding to Chicago. That is a lie. That's a lie. For more on this topic, as well as a discussion of the December jobs number, we're pleased to be joined by Scott the Cow Guy Shalady. Scott Shalady, a former Illinoisan he's in the data set. He's an Illinoisan who moved to Indiana.
I'm one of the 55,000 people that made the jump. Yep.
For the weather, right?
Yeah, exactly. And boy, I've never heard of an article of a guy overthinking something. If it smells like it, if it smells like it, looks like it, tastes like it, that's what it is, right? So don't overthink it.
How much do you think you've saved by moving to Indiana, just in property taxes alone? Not to get too personal, but yes, I asked a personal question.
$35,000 a year in property taxes.
That's a big number. That's a big number. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. Ooh. By the way, a related story, U-Haul, top growth states, 2019. Florida's number one, where people are renting U-Hauls to move there. And Illinois is number one with people renting U-Hauls to leave.
I think U-Haul named Pritzker their salesman of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. No
and
question
our employee
about
of the month is JB. Congratulations.
Exactly right.
Glazed ham.
Well,
all right. So, it's Occam's razor with respect to migratory patterns. We got that covered. What about the jobs number? A little bit less than ADP had predicted earlier in the week, and a little bit less than the Street predicted, with coming in about 145,000 jobs. Any big reads on that number?
No, I mean, and as we've said before, the headline or what the media is going to want to write about tomorrow is the headline number, but it's a little bit of a disappointment, but not really. Look, unemployment rate's at 3.5%. That's probably the biggest. The biggest story is the wages are not going up. Really, that's the biggest story. But 3.5% unemployment. As long as we grow jobs at between 75,000 and 100,000 per month, we're going to keep that unemployment rate low, like at 3.5%. So that's good. So this number, while it probably missed expectations, you have to be worried about what those are. And so 145 is still not bad. It's just a little bit lighter than what we were expecting.
And with respect to the look ahead over the next 10 months in the run-up to the 2020 election, do you see any particular gathering storms in the short term that would change the trajectory of the economy?
No, I don't. And, I'm fairly critical. And last year, and I've spoken to you about this, Dan, is that we had three headwinds, really. The biggest being China and the tariffs, and then we had the USMCA here, and then Brexit and how that might affect Europe going forward. Well, those things were headwinds last year, and they're kind of turning into tailwinds this year. So if he keeps giving us these numbers, and we now have what were negatives last year turn into positives this year, it's going to take one heck of a black swan to kind of throw this thing off course. And who knows if that could happen? I mean, there's always a 10% chance every year that you can get a black swan. There's always going to be some sort of probability. But this is just making them harder and harder to beat.
Besides 145,000 jobs added in December, the unemployment number held at 3.5%, which is, that's the lowest unemployment we've had in 50 years.
Yeah, and we're seeing record after record being broken that way, and on top of it, Amy, there's 7 million jobs out there we can't fill. So think about that. That's the problem. So I will say this. The only thing I can think of that makes me a little squirrely is the fact that we've got such great jobs numbers, and we can't fill 7 million jobs, but at the same time, employers are not competing to pay people more. You would think that wages would be rising because employers would be fighting to keep people or bring people in, and it's just not happening. So what we're putting in the engine, we're not seeing come out properly in the exhaust, right? There's a leak in our system somewhere, and I know that's what Powell's thinking, and that's what Janet Yellen was thinking, and the brightest minds can't really figure out where this leak is, and that's really their main job. And once we get that sorted out, then you'll see some wage increase, and the markets are going to like this today because wages aren't going up, and that's an inflationary thing, and if wages wages were going up, you'd start to, people would start to say, oh, we might have to raise rates, slow down inflation. But this is definitely not an inflationary number. So the markets will take a sigh of relief, thinking we're not going to raise rates, maybe keep things the way they are, and so we're going to probably just grind a little bit higher. So it's all in all, it's not bad. It's just not as sexy as people wanted it to be.
Well, speaking of the Fed and inflationary pressure, I mean, we're still in uncharted territory with respect to easy money, quantitative easing, de facto quantitative easing that continues to perhaps arguably in part prop up the stock market. What about that as a concern?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those hits and misses. It's a miss because 15% of Americans own 85% of the stocks. I mean, that's the roundabout general figure. So 85% of the people out there are missing out on this stock market rally, number one. That is also, partially artificially being fed by the Fed. So that is something that has to be that is a concern. But again, if you keep getting these numbers and there's so much investable money out there to be invested, that there's kind of a problem there that people need to see return, and they just kind of keep flocking to the market. So I'll say another shocking statistic that 30 years ago we had twice as many stocks to invest in. So in 30 years, how many more people do we introduce into the country in 30 years? How much more money have we introduced in the markets in 30 years? And you have half of the things to invest in? What would that automatically tell you is going to happen? So a large part of why these things are going up is because there's not enough places to put your money. So there are some commonsensical things out there when you really look at it that make you kind of think and get a little nervous. But as long as there's that much money out there and we keep growing our population, that's probably going to be the case.
That's an interesting
yeah,
point.
That's ominous. How did the markets react after the attack on Soleimani?
Well, I tell you what, I was up every 2 hours that night, and just to kind of keep my eye on the markets, because I have to try to kind of build a story so I get a feel for the market overnight. When I come in, it's not cold. And we started off with the Dow Jones was down over 400 points after that happened. After the attacks on our bases, all right? There was another big sell-off when Soleimani was killed too, but we had a 600 or 700 point rally from our lows the same day. I mean, what we're seeing is unprecedented as far as market volatility and movement, but even the volatility index, the fear index that you probably heard about, isn't reacting either. It's low too. So it's the complacency, all these things are lining up to, be something that Sean from Melbourne Park would love to talk about, but there is a market complacency. There is a lot of money out there. There's free money. I mean, there's not a lot of great things that give you a lot of comfort, but at the same time, money keeps flowing into it. So you kind of have to keep your heart out of it and do what's in front of you.
One other disturbing statistic this week is that Tesla is the biggest car company in American history by valuation. Sort of remarkable. And I wonder what you think of Elon Musk, and I don't necessarily need you to comment on his striptease in Shanghai, but you can if you want. Is he trending towards Gianni Agnelli or Preston Tucker?
His stock has rallied significantly. He's a breath of fresh air. I will say that. Whether you agree with him or not, he's an interesting character and he's great for headlines. But I'll say that a lot of if you take these if the test case to Europe and where they have these big incentives for people to buy these electric vehicles to get off of gasoline, when they take those incentives away, nobody buys those cars. All right, and especially when you got gas at $2.50. Now this is a different story if the gas is $5 a gallon. So he's had a lot of bit of government help, and also something that people don't talk about is that, and it's hard to explain to the general public, but there's a big short interest in this stock because people don't believe his story, right? So they've gone out, borrowed stock from people and paid them interest on the stock they've borrowed, and then gone and sold it in the market in the hopes of buying it back cheaper later. Well, they're getting their handed to them right now because they're getting burnt because they have to get out after a certain point in time, and that is what I think a large part of why you've seen a rally in the stock, because the short guys have to get out. They've sold it too low and they have to buy it back.
That's interesting. He is Scott Shalady. He's always interesting. Scott the Cow Guy Shalady, Fox Business contributor. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
All right.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hold fast!
The best
picture of the year is 1917, raves Forbes magazine.
We've got orders to cross here. That is the German front line.
It's a soaring tribute to heroism that's both epic and intimate.
We need to keep moving!
The best war movie since Saving Private Ryan.
There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
1917, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Oh, I just drank my cup of Balance of Nature. I take hot water and break open 3 fruit capsules, and it soothes my throat, and I'm trying to build up my immune system because you need to right now. Folks, it's only January, and experts are predicting a terrible flu season, and the best way to stay healthy in 2020 is to boost your immune system by eating well, and that means getting enough fruits and veggies, which we have to admit we are not doing on our own, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear stories all the time here, and I know I've told you this before, but I met a woman whose husband had a heart attack, and he started taking Balance of Nature a few days after the surgery, and he has not been sick once in 5 years. Who can say that? She hasn't been sick. Oh, no, I thought you were sick the other. You got me sick. No, yep, Dan doesn't think he got me sick. He got me sick. Anyhow, he should be taking Balance of Nature too. But enough about that. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself and make 2020 a year of better health. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which means you get the best pricing and free shipping, and you'll receive an additional 35% off your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so do not wait, friends. Call 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Imagine selling your home in under 30 days without ever listing it. It's possible with the Wexler Real Estate Group's new Instant Offer program. Just schedule a home evaluation and receive an offer for your home. You don't have to pay commissions, service fees, or buyer closing costs. There's no home improvements, inspection, repairs, open houses, or for sale signs. You don't even have to do the dishes. If you accept the offer, you pick the closing date that's convenient for you. And you can be out in less than 30 days. Hassle-free. If you do choose the traditional sales route, no problem. Ron Wexler, Tammy Northcutt, and the team at the Wexler Group at Keller Williams Preferred Realty have over 35 years of experience to help you sell your home for top dollar in today's market. For more information on the Wexler Group's Instant Offer program, call or text 708-629-5151. That's 708-629-5151. Or visit thewexlergroup.com. Certain conditions and fees apply. Ron Wexler is an Illinois licensed real estate agent serving Chicago and its suburbs.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. Chapel Design Build delivers just that, providing design build and general contracting services using Butler Steel Building Systems. Their projects dot the landscape from O'Hare to DeKalb. You see their work in office and warehouse additions, recreational facilities, large-scale distribution centers, and manufacturing plants all over northern Illinois. Partnering with Butler Steel Buildings, Chapel Design Build has developed an extensive subcontractor base and valuable market knowledge to get your quality-built project completed on time and on budget, ensuring your project is a success for your business and one that you will be proud of for years to come. The goal is to build lasting relationships with their clients using buildings that last from Butler. Get started on your next building project built with Butler Steel. Visit chapeldb.com. That's Chapel D as in design, B as in build.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking to Scott Chilady about jobs numbers, about blue state redistribution of population. Byron and Lombard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hey, Dan and Amy. The relationship between unemployment and inflation is defined technically by a term called the Phillips curve.
Yes, which was
And
debunked by the
nobody-
Laffer curve.
Yeah, nobody right now can explain what it is, but one of the things is that with inflation as low as it is, people are not demanding higher wages, so you're not seeing growth in that. And so inflation is staying low. That's just what I wanted to tell you guys.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, though, with the tight job market, though, there is salary competition to get talented people. This is remarkable. Taco Bell, did you see this?
Oh, yeah. I'm heading to the border.
I was going to say, talk about a side hustle. Forget Uber. Taco Bell is going to test paying managers $100,000 a year at some company-owned locations in the Northeast and Midwest. This is a way to, encourage talented people that are in the system to stay and to try and attract them, as well as at least
6 figures.
Yeah, 24 days of paid sick time per calendar year.
Well, and then also, I didn't know that the average salary is between $50,000 to $80,000 a year right now for general managers at Taco Bell.
Yeah. Well, you may want to move west too, or hope In-N-Out Burger comes east to the Midwest.
I love In-N-Out.
In-N-Out Burger.
My mom lives right by one in Tucson. Oh,
the average salary for one of its restaurant managers,
how much?
Is more than $160,000 a year.
$160?
Yeah, privately held.
That
In-N-Out
would
Burger.
go a long way in Tucson, I can tell you that.
It's paid its managers $100,000 and above for at least the past decade, according to its vice president of operations. This Market Watch story about some of the fast food salary, the salary ranges at fast foods. Now, the flip side is you work at a fast food restaurant.
It's hard. There's never a dull moment. It's always busy. Boom,
You
boom, boom.
you work at a whammy burger and you're making $150,000, and then Michael Douglas gets fired from a defense contractor and he comes in and shoots up the place. So you got to be careful about that. It's not all, milk and honey at these places. But that's pretty interesting. That's great.
And you got to fill in as a general manager if your staff doesn't come to work, because that happens a lot. You got to fill in and work the food line.
Well, if you need a letter of recommendation from me, just say so.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, why can't elites celebrate our victory over Iran? We'll ask Carl Naterno, Mount Vernon Fellow at the Center for American Greatness at 8:38.
And this morning they're running DNA tests on that coyote they caught last night to see if it's the one. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
47 degrees, skies are cloudy. We've had some light rain, and the Chicago area bracing for a winter storm tonight. Police in St. Petersburg, Florida, releasing more information about what led to this morning's lockdown at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. Just around 2 a.m., a man with a gun vandalized a car and the front door of his ex's apartment in St. Petersburg right across from the base. 145,000 jobs were added last month, slightly below what economists had expected, but the unemployment rate remains about the same, 3.5%. A resolution calling for the limitation of President Trump's authority to order military action against Iran has passed the House in a party line vote. However, 8 Democrats crossed over and voted with Republicans against that resolution. The National Transportation Safety Board will take part in the investigation of a deadly plane crash in Iran. Iranian authorities are leading that investigation into this week's crash that killed 176. A Naperville man has pleaded guilty to aggravated DUI and reckless homicide following a crash that killed a Downers Grove High School student last February. Joseph Kucharski entered a blind guilty plea yesterday in DuPage County Court. Predators over the Blackhawks, 5-2 last night. While the Bulls host the Pacers tonight. Over the weekend, the rapidly improving Rutgers basketball crew will visit the Fighting Illini. Tonight, UIC hosts Northern Kentucky. Tomorrow, DePaul's at St. John's. Northwestern hosts Nebraska. In the Valley, Loyola hosts Evansville, and Illinois State is at the Sycamores of Indiana State. The news service of Staples. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples. 8:33. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't sure which side the Democrats are on.
The Democrats are virtually on the side of Iran, as the daughter of Soleimani has vowed that there is going to be a dark event happening against the United States as they are promising to literally attack the White House. The Democrats seem to be siding with our enemy.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. Most people flunk on their first go-around, signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
This is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. The Fed did it again and helped push mortgage rates to yet another historic low. So are you holding off refinancing your home because you think rates may go even lower? Well, let me make your decision even easier. Let's refinance you now and take advantage of this opportunity. If rates drop more than 0.5% in the next 24 months, I will refinance you at the lower rate at no closing costs. Other lenders state that they'll refinance you, but watch out for the fine print. So if you have a conventional loan that's over 4.75 or FHA or VA loan over 4.5, you have nothing to lose and thousands to save. So find out how much you can save. Just pick up the phone to call me personally. That's 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or find me on the web at windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
8:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Northbound tri-state traffic is jammed from 115th and Bridgeland to 87th. There's a crash in the two right lanes. Farther north, it's heavy from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan-Tillway to the Eisenhower. Northbound Veterans Memorial traffic slow. 75th to Reagan-Tillway and Army Trail to 290. Southbound 53 from Brand to Kirchhoff. The outbound line remains closed in the locals. 47th to the Skyway. The delays start around Pershing. Inbound with scattered delays, it's 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Eisenhower's 55 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson, 55 minutes from 355. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Mild morning ahead, occasional rain and drizzle, high 47. Breezy, rain begins overnight. Some of that could be heavy, a low of 34. And through the overnight hours, winds become strong with an icy mix developing toward daybreak, a high of 34 tomorrow. It's 48 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, two parallel issues with respect to Iranian policy. The decision to take out General Soleimani without seeking congressional authorization. And so the House Democrats have moved a resolution, passed it yesterday, to require the president to seek congressional authorization were he to initiate any other military action against Iran.
And he didn't seem too bothered by it.
Well, that's because it's
It would all
past the
depend
House.
on the circumstance. I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to be able, because you have to make split-second decisions sometimes. Sometimes you have to move very, very quickly, John. But in certain cases, I wouldn't even mind doing it.
Going to Congress, he means. So, right. And, of course, it just passed the House. That doesn't mean it's going to pass the Senate. And certainly won't in the form that it took in the House. In addition to that, we have the matter of Iran now believed to have shot down that commercial airliner, killing 176 people, whether accidentally or purposely for some heretofore unknown reason. And the responsible party for that, well,
yours truly.
Jackie Spire, Democrat from California, tells us.
Have you been briefed on it? Because it certainly sounds like it was a mistake by the Iranians. Do you think they assumed this was some sort of U.S. military plane?
Well, I have been briefed on it, Wolf, in the Intelligence Committee, so I'm not really at liberty to say. But if what is being projected is true, this is yet another example of collateral damage from the actions that have been taken in a provocative way by the President of the United States.
Right, you heard that right. The Iranian military shooting down in a commercial airliner in Iranian airspace with Russian missiles is Trump's fault. Got it? For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Carl Noturno, who's Mount Vernon Fellow of the Center for American Greatness and 2019 Claremont Institute Publius Fellow. Also, talented individual. He has written and produced a musical called K Street about political staffers and lobbyists in D.C. that will be premiering this summer in Washington, D.C. Carl Noturno, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan and Amy, thank you so much for having me.
All right, first we have to deal with this musical matter.
Please.
So, I mean,
you need a tall blonde.
Who do you think? You think you're Mark Russell? You think you're Capitol Steps? You think you're Lin-Manuel Miranda? You think you're Matt Parker and Trey Stone? I mean, who do you think you are?
Not yet. Trying to be. We'll see if it's successful or not. I was actually talking to your producer right before this and gave him a little bit of a preview. We have, actually, it's funny that you mentioned Little Man, or the guy behind Hamilton, because we have a rap that makes fun of Hank Johnson asking if Guam would tip over and capsize. I gave him a little bit of a preview of that, but it's going to be amazing. Okay. Aren't you worried that Guam could tip over and capsize, putting in jeopardy billions of dollars and irreparably harming thousands of lives? Would it be negligence, malice, or forethought, a manifestation of hubris and pride? It's the base we built first and took along with it the lives of all who have been forced to abide, or deliberate destruction of natural beauty in our ravenous quest for war as we ignore the very tenets we swore to fight for. Yeah, it goes on like that.
Wow. That's very, very good. It says a cross between Chuck D and the old Federal Express commercial guy, the fast talker. I love it. All right, good stuff. K Street. All right. All right. So I'm going to visit D.C. in the summer and check that out. That's great. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, kstreet.show.
K-Street.
That's the website.
K-Street.show. Got it. K-Street.show. All right. Now, after that, I'm not sure we can take you seriously on other matters, but we're going to try.
We can.
You wrote a piece for amgreatness.com, American Greatness.
Yep.
Why can't elites celebrate our victory over Iran? Well, answer your question.
Yeah. Well, I think that at the end of the day, we have to ask, who their loyalties actually reside with. Because it's amazing that, we seem to have an unmitigated victory, barring any type of, proxy war action that Iran takes in the next few days, which I hope they're not stupid enough to actually take. But barring anything like that, the situation seems like an unmitigated victory. You have the Iranians claiming that somehow, shooting 22 missiles at two bases and not killing a single individual, which, by the way, that alone requires a tremendous amount of technical skill not to kill anyone. But they're claiming that that action is somehow a proportionate response to us killing their top general. I mean, the old saying goes, you bring a knife to, you bring a gun, they send one of yours to the hospital, you send one of theirs to the morgue. Here you have Iran kind of doing the exact opposite and saying, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. You killed our top general. We'll just, do some minor infrastructure damage on your base. Yeah, and you have Democrats now who have been talking about, almost with a zeal, in their voices about war and, oh my God, the draft is going to come back and we're going to you're going to have tons of Americans dying, and none of that happens, and they can't even be happy. They have turned into Iranian apologists even. You had a piece on the front page of the New York Times, an opinion piece, talking about how, well, we have Iranian blood on our hands too. So ultimately, you have to ask, whose side are they on? And I think it's pretty obvious at this point that they're not on our side.
Are you surprised, though, that Trump hasn't been blamed for those 56 people who were killed in the stampede during the funeral for Soleimani, excuse me.
Salami was in White Shadow.
I'm hungry.
It's probably a better name for I'm waiting for the piece. It'll probably be Chris Hayes or Rachel Maddow or someone like that who's going to come out. And it's ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, they just show how much they hate Trump and how much contempt they have for the American citizen, the regular American citizen, because at the end of the day, what they want is, humanity to come together. They'd love to buy a world of Coke and, teach it how to sing in perfect harmony. And, they all want to have John Lennon's Imagine and, have scenes from Star Trek and the West Wing where, you have rational debate. At the end of the day, they're much more enamored with the aesthetics of politics than with actual politics. John Kerry wants to have a movie made about him where he is portrayed as this great negotiator, rather than understanding that at the end of the day, probably it'll be Trump who goes down as the great negotiator, because he is actually standing up for something. He's not concerned about how he's viewed in the moment. He's actually leading, right? And that's the problem, is that we have a cultural and political elite who thinks that leadership means being a follower with better polling. And that's ultimately not what it is.
Since you have a creative side, a theatrical side, I wanted to give you the chance, since you wrote about it as well, to opine not just on Ricky Gervais's monologue at the Golden Globes on Sunday night, but also the fallout from it and his response to it, as a man of the left, chiding journalists who are flacking for these delicate Hollywood celebrities, and so offended by Ricky Gervais for decrying just their simple hope for a better tomorrow.
Well, so Ricky Gervais's entire performance actually reminded me of when Norm Macdonald hosted the ESPYs a while back, where he just completely demolished them to their face, and was widely acclaimed by the general audience, but was reviled and hated by the people who he was actually talking to. Ultimately, these people, the cultural elite, are very, very fragile people. And I kind of, I went to Yale, and you kind of saw a microcosm of that fragility there, because I was amazed to see some of the most privileged people, like the people who just have so much material wealth, who have so many opportunities, who would break down at the slightest type of criticism or anything that would challenge their worldview in any way. So ultimately, these people are kind of crybabies in a lot of ways. They do not have tough skin. They like to think that they are these great heroes, which they're not. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to realize that being an actor, being an athlete, being something. Yes, it requires skill. Yes, whatever. But they're probably paid ridiculously overpaid, if we're being honest. And it would be one thing if they were actually adding some type of something new, something original to our culture. But so many of these actors nowadays just have completely sold out with remake after remake, spin-off, just garbage that I don't think many people actually like it. I think that there isn't much original content being created nowadays with wholesome kind of unifying messages. I mean, the few original things that are being created kind of have these dark, nihilistic strains to them, And this is part of the reason that I'm throwing myself into creative endeavors, because I think that our country's soul desperately needs more art that actually unifies us, that actually brings us together, that that doesn't try to destroy the very things that we have tried to cultivate over millennia, like the ideas of virtue. I mean, the fact that all our art and academia and society seem to be trying to pull these ideas apart, even going to factual matters of science, where they're trying to pull apart the definition of gender.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good that you're interceding, because we definitely need more thoughtful, sane people in the arts, and people who, unlike Hollywood, as Ricky Gervais said, have less schooling than Greta Thunberg. That was one of my favorite lines. Carl Naterno, again, the play is K Street, which premieres this summer in Washington, D.C. KStreet.show is the website. He is also a writer, contributor for amgreatness.com, the 2019 Claremont Institute, Publius Fellow. And just a quick question, too, since you went to Yale.
Yeah.
I understand the Yale Law Library is a particularly romantic place. Is that true?
They're beautiful. I mean, the libraries there are really beautiful.
We could understand how the Clintons fell in love there.
Well, I would attribute that more to the drug and alcohol culture than anything else. But
wow,
Carl Naterno, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
This is better than I expected. You guys, your customer service and everything, you guys are great. Yeah, you're the best company out there. And the commercials, they talk about it, but a lot of times it's like, I don't know if it really gives it true justice of what this really is. People need to know. This is maybe the most amazing product I've ever tried. You can just feel the energy. It's so pure. It tastes so good. I'm just blown away by it. It's amazing.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Now that winter's here, how's your fireplace and chimney? Before you light the first fire, have your chimney cleaned and inspected by Chicagoland's most trusted fireplace and chimney company. The experts at Fireplace and Chimney Authority will give your family peace of mind that your fireplace is safe and works properly all season long. And if you call today, get $45 off a cleaning and inspection. You'll be all set. Since 1995, Fireplace and Chimney Authority has been the favorite for everything fireplace and chimney. For a limited time, get 10% off any new purchase of a fireplace, new doors, gas logs, insert or fireplace tool sets and screens. With record-breaking cold predicted this winter, now is a great time to update your existing fireplace or add a new fireplace to your home. Remember to get your fireplace serviced this winter and receive $45 off your chimney cleaning and inspection. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority now, 630-279-8500, or visit online, fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com. fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com.
Kids Garage Repair
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
As time goes by, we can all use a little more help getting around. Staying mobile and independent can be tough for some, especially our aging loved ones. When you need assistance finding the right quality products to make life easier and more enjoyable, there's Mars Medical Supply. Home medical equipment and supplies to keep you or someone you care for independent and mobile. Whether it's living with certain medical conditions and disorders, or recovering from injuries and surgeries that are difficult to cope with, shopping for specialty products can be frustrating. The Mars Medical Consultants will help you find the right solution and feature a full line of lift chairs, scooters, knee walkers, power wheelchairs, and rollator walkers. There's also financing available on purchases over $200 through Care Credit to help you get the products you need right away. For home medical equipment and supplies, rely on Mars Medical Supply, 333 West Maple Street in New Lenox. Browse products and featured items online at marsmedicalsupply.com. Mars Medical, keeping you independent and mobile for over 30 years, with customer care that's out of this world.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy.
Help if I turn my mic on. February 4th, guys, is going to be a big night. That's the night that President Trump will deliver his State of the Union address to Congress. It'll certainly be an interesting event with the impeachment trial about to get underway and the hostilities with Iran. And we want you to join us for our State of the Union viewing party. Come enjoy dinner and drinks with several hundred AM 560 listeners and watch the speech together. We'll be there, and in fact, we'll be hosting a VIP table where you can sit with us during dinner and the speech. It's all happening at the Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village on Tuesday, February 4th. Tickets on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste.
What do you think about people who get purebred pups rather than rescue pups?
Well, I think that they're wonderful people.
Well, okay.
Because I have Bunky, who's a purebred. Well, she's Russian Bulldog and English Bulldog.
That's where you part company with PETA. AOC tweeted out a picture of a French Bulldog that she got, purebred puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And PETA saw that and responded.
Oh, would they make her life miserable?
We really couldn't believe our eyes, and this is the punchline, because you are a role model for how to live. Somebody who's afraid of a garbage disposal. Okay. We couldn't really believe our eyes because you're a role model on how to live, so we understand that you just didn't realize what you were doing in this case. You couldn't have. With the millions of homeless dogs out there, you apparently chose to buy a purebred puppy instead of adopting one from an animal shelter. They also said French Bulldogs suffer from extensive health problems due to inbreeding.
Stop. There's not inbreeding going on.
That's not what Gavin Belson said.
Consider the bulldog, a grotesque monstrosity born of relentless inbreeding, riddled with sinusitis, crippled by joint pain, chronically flatulent.
That is true.
Kindly pet or humanity's cruelest mistake?
Oh.
All right, take it away.
And then they reel it out the door. Sitting on a chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, just like that horrible creature, the entire nucleus program was the result of inbreeding. We mated Hooli engineers with Hooli designers in a Hooli kennel. Is it any wonder the result was just as unspeakable as that thing? Bring it back here. Look at that hideous face. All right, get it out of here.
And by the way, things didn't work out particularly well for Hooli either. So just to close the loop on that with the French Bulldogs, I hope it works out better for AOC and her new puppy.
Gosh,
I feel sorry for the puppy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. She's never at home. Thanks again for making us part of your mornings. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is, besides a book reader to his son,
AOC's dog walker.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. We'll be back here bright and early Monday morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Maybe if the snow lets us through, and as Chicago is bracing for a winter storm this weekend. Illinois now covering sex reassignment surgeries. We'll tell you why. Bulls host the Pacers later on tonight. WIND, Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Putting an even tighter squeeze on Iran's economy.